السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكما YouTube? How are you YouTube? How is your day? How are your day? Wait, what is the right way of saying? How are your day YouTube? YouTube, I have very bad news. I was messaging Baba Ali today and subhanAllah, I think the brother, something must have happened to him. We had an agreement to go live today and something's happened to the brother. So khair, I hope everything's okay on his end, inshallah ta'ala. He hasn't gotten back to me. He hasn't responded to my messages. So what I've done is I've sent him the link. I sent him the link here on StreamYard. And if he joins, he joins. But for now, he's disappeared. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. So the way we're going to run this, inshallah ta'ala, is I'm gonna start off with my opening spiel, my opening sermon, inshallah, and then I'm gonna open up the stream for those of you who want to come in, and we can have a discussion. Why are you still single? If you've been trying to get married for X period of time, why are you still single? Are you the problem? And I will quote something that Baba Ali said on one of the Clubhouse chat rooms that we were on the other day. And he said, the number one reason why single people are still single is themselves. And that's a very open and broad statement, and it can be interpreted in many different ways, but it's still 100% absolutely right. And I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. The number one reason why most people, Muslim or not, it's irrelevant, are single is because of themselves. They are single because of themselves, especially if you have been looking to get married for a prolonged period of time. If you've been out there on the marriage marketplace for, let's say, a number of years, if it's been a number of years that you've been trying to get married and you're still not married, almost definitely the problem is with yourself. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Renato, a simple guy, just simple. Wa alaikum assalam. Al-Naz, Atia, assalamu alaikum. Jawad, wa alaikum assalam. Freda, how are you guys doing? I hope we're doing well, inshallah. So, as I said, just to repeat for those of you who are joining the stream now, Baba Ali's gone incognito. I've left him the stream link. If he joins fantastic. For those of you who want to join this stream, the link is in the description and you can join me. And you can come live. You don't have to show your face. You can hide your face if you want. And we can talk about why are you still single if you are single. Now, I will say this. A lot of the times, our negative experiences of either previous marriages or previous courtships that we may have had get in the way of future relationships. And to an extent, this is normal. If you've burnt your hand one way, you don't want to burn it again. But it can get in the way. I have friends, for example, who have had really bad experiences in their previous marriages, for that matter. And you could make a strong case, well, Mahdi, if they've had many previous marriages and they've all ended, who's the common denominator? You can make that case, but I'm telling you, man, some of them, subhanAllah, they just got a subhanAllah hand. That's all I'm going to say. But what that has done is it has made them apprehensive, nervous, and analysis paralysis. They've gone into a state of analysis paralysis. Omar, I can see you in the stream. I'll add you shortly. They've gone into a state of analysis paralysis whenever they go to speak to another sister. And I'm sure the same can be said for sisters in reverse. One thing that happens to sisters, oftentimes when they get a divorce, is their requirements, their prerequisites for a husband go up. Allah al-musta'an, ajib. What they demand from a man, from a husband, goes up after a divorce. Why? Because she feels like, I didn't know any better when I was younger, and now I know better. So my older self with X number of children is going to make higher demands. And ladies, it just don't work like that. It just don't work like that. So to the sisters who follow me, who are young and who've never been married before, let me tell you something, sisters. You can make the most. No wonder why my speakers, big man thing. I'm just clocking this now. You know, you guys always complain to me that my volume is low on my videos. And I am so miskeen when it comes to technology. Look at this. Look at this. It's right on low. That's echo, my bad. Look at that. SubhanAllah. Let me know if the volume is any better, please. MashaAllah. Allahu Akbar. I'm still so new to this stuff. You have to be patient with me, guys. Yallah, where was I? Yes. Sisters, you will be able to command the can you believe I just had that epiphany now? I was just staring at it. You will be able to make the most demands, if you like, demands, whilst you are young and have never been married before. Now, that's not to say you should price yourself out of the marriage marketplace and throw about ridiculous requirements from the brothers, especially if you're looking for a young brother. And this is a very important point. A lot of you young sisters want brothers who are just 4 or 5 years older than you. You don't want to marry, you know, a guy 20 years older than you. Fine. I'm good. I want my young brothers to get married. I want my young brothers to get married, but understand, have some rahmah. Omar, I can see you, Habib. Have some rahmah, have some mercy on your young brothers. Like, he's just come out of school. He's just come out of university. What do you expect from him? The guy's 21, 22, 20, 23. What do you expect from him? Like, have some rahmah. And if you've seen the video that I made of the advice I gave my 13-year-old girl, the advice I gave my 13-year-old, go and watch that video. It's on my YouTube. And the 2 things I told her to watch out for was a man who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and takes care of the wajibat, very important, and a man who displays ambition and a plan. He has a plan, he's going somewhere. Not just, yes, I'm ambitious and, you know, all of that loud story. No. Not just that. No. A man who has a plan, a real plan. He's going somewhere, mashallah. That's the type of man you want to look for, especially if you are looking for a brother in your age bracket, 21, 22, 23. This brother has just started his life. Do you know how long it takes to establish yourself as a man? Let me tell you something. For those rare individuals who do become millionaires, rare, okay? Do you know what is the average age of a man when he becomes a millionaire? What do you think? The average age of a man who becomes a millionaire, he makes his first million at the age of 49. 49. And you're making these bombastic requests to our young brothers, placing them under these crazy burdens. It's ridiculous. And did I forget to mention that just because he's rich doesn't mean he's going to be a good guy. Don't forget that. His deen first. His deen, his religion, his character first. Before anything. Before anything. But if you're looking for a wealthier brother, then understand that takes time. So have mercy on your young brothers. Have mercy on them. 20k mahar, 50k mahar. And I've already addressed this to the brothers in the chat. I said to you guys before, if a sister is refusing to compromise on her mahar, it is because she don't rate you like that. Move on. Move on. Tamam. I've got a couple of people here in the chat. Omar. Jawad, I can see you there as well. Let's bring Omar on first. Omar, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on, my man? How you doing, Akhi?
Nothing. I'm just chilling. So I had a question.
Yes.
So I was thinking about something, because do you think it happens that like before marriage, a man knows what he should do as a husband, right? Like his responsibilities, his masculinity, and all that. But as soon as he gets married, he loses his frame, like he kind of falls back. Do you think it happens?
Absolutely. Yes, it does happen. Do you know why that happens?
Why?
Because a lot of the time men make the ultimate goal getting a woman, getting a wife. And I have to say, even I have fell into this trap. That is, I've displayed certain ambitious characteristics and so on. And then I got comfortable. I got married and I got comfortable. Life was comfortable. And comfort is a killer. Comfort will kill you. So yes, a lot of men do make this mistake. In order to get the girl, they display all of these positive characteristics and attributes because he understands he has the burden of performance. But then he gets married, he gets fat, he gets lazy, he's not on his craft, and then guess what happens to the woman? she starts to lose attraction to him, because what made her attracted to him in the first place, he is no longer displaying that anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, go
yeah,
on,
because
carry
it
on.
happened to me too. Because like I had this one potential wife, like like I was looking. So what happened was that like I mean like I was like I didn't like do any like wedding or like or anything else. I was just like, okay, let's get married and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but now I mean I I fell back. I'm I'm just taking my time. So yeah, I'm also working on myself. And something else I want to ask you. It's kind of like anecdotal question. So
Sure.
um something happened Twi- on Twitter some days ago. There was this woman who exposed a guy for like like. So the story is that she exposed this guy, and the guy basically
Is
like
that Osama, brother?
what?
That it was his name, Osama, the brother.
No. The
Okay.
guy, I think they they were from like South Asia. So what happened was that the guy was like kind of like convincing the girl to send nudes. So what happened was that like he like I wouldn't call that like manipulation or force, because like it's over the like it's like they're talking on social media, right? So
Mm.
I wouldn't really call that like manipulation or force. So the girl like explains the whole story, and then she says that, oh, we talked, and then
Jawad,
she
I can see
convinced.
you in the chat. I can see you in the stream, Jawad. I'm coming to you. Atia, if you want to join, you can hit the link. Yes, Akhi Omar, carry on.
Yeah, so what happened was that this girl like basically she did exchange news with the guy, right?
Mm.
But then like after a while she was not like into exchanging nudes. So what happened, she posted the screenshots, and then she said, oh, this guy manipulated me and quote unquote forced me to sending nudes. Do you think that that's like manipulation or force?
All right. First thing and foremostly, let's try and address this from an empathetic angle, even though I severely lack empathy. And that is, okay, that's utter BS. Obviously, she is the decision maker of her life, right? What happened to all the strong and independent women? But she needs to find a way of preserving her reputation. She needs to find a way of going about damage limitation. Hence why she's going to say something like, I was coerced, I was forced. Do you know? Do you know the story of Elizabeth Holmes, the CEO of Theranos? Do you know that story?
No.
Theranos is, in fact, I read their book not too long ago. It's called Bad Blood. This book here is a book about the story of Theranos. Theranos was a company that claimed to have invented a technique, a method of conducting like endless blood tests from a single speck of blood. Which, if you're a doctor or you're in this world, I know nothing about it, conducting like infinite number of tests from a tiny sample of blood is next to impossible. Anyway, it turned out all to be a sham, and that she was basically she was just a liar. Bottom line, she became the youngest self-made billionaire ever. That was in 2014. By 2016, everything blew up in her face. All the truth came out. Now, so she's looking at charges of going to prison. Right now, guess what trump card she has pulled out? Excuse me. I was coerced. I was forced into it by my boyfriend. My boyfriend was a coercive, manipulative influence on me. And she'll probably get away with it. Point is this, is that how do women who have conducted themselves in a poor way go about preserving their reputation? By pulling out the old, I was coerced, manipulated card. Because why? It works. It works. Women are often seen as the victims, and you will have a whole bunch of white knights who will come to their aid. So it's quite normal that this sister you are speaking of is defending herself in this way. Is she right? No,
Do you
she's
know
wrong.
what
And I
she
hope,
said?
yeah, go on. What did she
She
say?
said that that we women are like emotionally invested in the guy, and men use that to, like, manipulate us. So what do you have to say?
I mean, again, she's responsible for her actions. She is not a victim in this.
Yeah.
I repeat, she is not a victim. Okay, now if she's young, she made a mistake, fine, whatever. I'm not going to judge her. Yeah, we've all done stupid things in our youth. Sadly for her, she's had to learn the hard way. Sadly for her. But let this be a lesson to the sisters in the chat. First of all, sisters, are you dumb? Sending nudes of yourself? Are you dumb, blood? Seriously, that stuff can go far and wide and it can never be deleted. So if you're a young sister in the chat right now, don't ever do that, ever. Because no matter what this guy is telling you, sugar and spice and all things nice, once you send that picture and there is a digital footprint, you're done out here. 10 years time, that guy could still have your picture masturbating off to your naked nudes whilst you're married to your husband. Yes, I said it. Don't do this. Of course, ittaqillah, fear Allah, so on and so forth. Yes, I know. Now I'm giving you the practical ramifications of these blunders. Don't do it. Omar, I'm going to bring another guy on. Jazakallah khair, habibi. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Right. Jawad, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for your patience, Akhi. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feek. Yes, Akhi, what you got for me, bro?
I'm in a bit of a dilemma where my parents want me to marry like a traditional woman, but I don't feel attracted to her. And then I'm still trying to develop myself, but they don't understand the aspect of like giving me enough time to develop. I need to be in the proper environment. I don't think that's here right now. And I'm trying to make that environment.
How old are you?
25.
Okay, you're not young. You're that's it. You're of marriage age, bro. So what's the main issue?
They want someone traditional, but they also want me to take care of the household responsibilities here.
Okay,
and they want more just like grandkids.
And you've met the sister?
No, haven't met her. It's just an arranged marriage.
Oh wow! And
so it's just one woman that I've seen. There's no one else.
Okay, hold on. So you are expected to rock up to the masjid on wedding day and marry a sister that you've never even met before. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. Listen, let me tell you something, Akhi. Yeah, I'm not saying whether you should or shouldn't marry her, but I need you to know this. A lot of the times when Muslim men think that they are doing something to please their parents, even though they know that they don't want to do it or they shouldn't do it, such as, for example, your mother wants you to become a doctor. So she wants you to study medicine. So you go and study medicine, but you hate it. You hate it, right? And as a result of you hating it, you fail. You think that by obliging her and doing the medicine degree, that, you know, this is making her happy. Actually, what you are doing is prolonging her pain and making it infinitely more painful once the inevitable happens, which is your failure in that degree. I had this very conversation with a young man just the other day, where he studied medicine because that's what his parents wanted him to do. He failed because he didn't like it, obviously, and now his mother's crushed. He simply prolonged, postponed, and intensified her punishment. I say to you equally here as well. If you are being forced into marrying a sister that you know nothing about, you are potentially doing your parents a great disservice, because this is Russian roulette. God knows what bullet you're going to get. And if you get with a sister whom you are totally incompatible with, and then the inevitable happens, which is divorce, this is going to cause your parents infinitely more pain than if you had simply said, Mom, Dad, I respect you, I love you, but I can't oblige this.
Their argument is saying that, you know, everything beneath the belt is the same. It's not very different. So you shouldn't be so picky. How do I respond to that?
Yeah, okay, that's true. But how long does that last? An hour if you're lucky? Couple of hours maybe if you're really kinky. How long does that last? Then you've got the other 21, 22 hours of the day that you have to deal with this woman. This is an incompatible way of thinking. I hope I've chosen my words correctly, bro. And at the same time, Jawad, if you meet the sister, if you say to your parents, look, can I meet the sister first? Maybe I do like her. You never know, bro. She might be the best thing since sliced bread. Do you understand? But you will not know that until you go and meet her. You have to meet her first, brother. Period. Does that make sense?
They showed, it makes sense, I understand, but they showed me pictures and stuff, but I just don't feel anything.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about pictures. Let me tell you something. Story time. Quick story for you guys. I once was speaking to a sister a number of years ago from a view to marry her, and we had a couple of FaceTime calls. I made sure that we had to do FaceTime because I've been tricked with photos in the past, but sister's tricking me. So I thought, you know what? We're going to do FaceTime because these women, they get me on all the angles. So we're done. I can see Atia and the Red Mad Mac. I can see you guys in the stream. Atia, you're up next, inshallah. So I said to the sister, let's do a FaceTime. You know, after the initial things, everything was good. We did a FaceTime call. Great, fantastic. Now we arranged the next step, which was to meet her in person with her family. So I met her in person with her family. Let me tell you something, bro. My heart dropped into my stomach. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was a whole other human being. A whole other human being. Like for the worse, not for the better. And I dropped it then and there. Lovely sister, beautiful sister, but like it was just too much. The difference was too much. You have to meet this sister, because if you don't, Jawad, you risk hurting your parents a lot more than by simply taking your precautions beforehand. You don't want to. Do you want to hurt your parents?
No, not at all.
Khalas, then this is what you have to do. Okay, Jawad, I'm going to bring on the next guy. Habib.
Okay, thank you.
Atia, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Your voice is a bit muffled. Can you, I think there's something muffling the sound.
Hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Yes, sister, how can I help you?
Okay, so one reason why I haven't been able to find a partner or like a husband is because I have really bad social anxiety. So it's really hard for me to like take the steps to like talk to a man and, you know, allow him to court me and stuff like that.
How old are you?
And I am 21.
21. Okay, go on, carry on.
And another reason why I haven't been able to find a partner is because I didn't have a waly. Well, me and my dad, we recently just started reconnecting like this year. And my family, like, we're not really close. Like, they don't really like support me in anything when it comes to like my future or like finding a husband. So I haven't been able to find suitors. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Do you live alone or do you live with your family?
I live with my family, but I'm about to move with my dad in Texas. He's finding me a place so that he now wants to like be a part of my life to help me find like a husband and stuff like that.
Okay, and have brothers expressed their interest to you in the past?
Yes, when I was like, this is when I was going out, like when I was going out to like the market, like the halal markets, because I live in New York City. There's Muslims here, but you would have to go to places where there's like Muslims, like at a market or something like that. And when a brother would show interest in me, when he would see me, he would show interest in me. My mom, she would kind of like sabotage it for me, because me and my mom, we just don't get along. So she would kind of sabotage it for me. And yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, so brothers have expressed their interest to you. What did they say? How did they express their interest to you?
They were like, oh, like you're beautiful. Like I want to like get to know your daughter.
Okay, and then what was your response?
At first, I thought that I was too young. Like if I'm like 17, 18, I felt like I was too young to marry someone who was like older, because they were like older, like 35.
Right. Let me just drop a learning curve in the chat. To those of you viewing. Actually, first of all, if you're watching this, we got 84 of you in here right now. I would really appreciate if you could please hit that like. And there's 85 of you watching. We have how many likes? Here right now. We have 26 likes. Let's get those likes up, please. Let's get those likes up. Jazakumullah khair. Gentlemen, never ever start your courtship with, sister, you're so beautiful. If she's beautiful, trust me when I say she knows it. She doesn't need you to tell her. She already knows. Why? Because every freaking one else tells her as well. Think of something different. Don't start with that. Yeah, you're leading with your private parts when you do that. So don't drop that, oh, I think you're beautiful. You're stating the obvious. If she's beautiful, believe me, she knows it. Moving forward, sister, Atia,
Yes.
how many brothers have courted you over the past 12 months?
I don't really go. Okay, well, I don't really go out. For me to, I don't really go out. Ever since the pandemic, I haven't been going out.
Okay. So what's been your medium of brothers being able to contact you? Your family, like, are your family involved? Is your father involved?
No, I just said like he just now reached out. Like he's now since this year, cause my dad lives in Texas. He's gonna like now finally start helping me like find a partner.
Okay, tamam. And what are you looking for in a brother?
I'm looking for a man who's very loving, who's very warm, like in his demeanor. He's very I don't like harsh people because I'm very sensitive and I've been through a lot in my life. So I don't want a man who thinks that he can, like, I understand Allah gave man, a leadership role. He gave men like, power and more rights and stuff like that. But I feel like men shouldn't, you know, I feel like men should just be more gentle when it comes to like women.
Okay, and so you want a brother who's warm and loving and so on. Would you marry a brother who's warm and loving if he's 5 foot?
I would marry. I mean, I have
5 foot.
5 foot. If honestly, it depends on how he looks, like in his other aspects.
Okay, I want to know tangible stuff. Brothers, men, we want to know tangible stuff. Okay, you're a woman. You hope to have children one day?
Yes.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Do you want to be responsible for the household bills?
Yes.
You want to be responsible for the household bills?
Oh no! I think you said.
Okay, fine. So you want your husband to be responsible for the household bills, correct?
I would help him. Like I feel like I would like, especially in this economy. I know it's really hard to like do everything, especially like in the Western worlds. I would help him with the bills.
Okay. How much are you going to help him with?
Like 25%.
25%. So he has to be bringing home the vast majority, right? So how much does a brother have to earn in order for you to consider him as a viable option, a husband option from a financial standpoint? Let's put a number on it. How much does this brother have to earn for you to say, you know what, I feel secure. I feel like this brother can provide me with the security that I need in order to settle down, nest with him, so on and so forth.
I'm very low maintenance. Wallahi, I swear. I'm very low maintenance. I would say he could have like a regular, like if he's like a teacher, if he.
Okay, that's good. So
like, he doesn't have to be like, oh, I need to have like my own house.
Okay, so
if he has like most of the
$38,000 a year, does that work for you? That's the average. That's the average income in the US. $38,000 a year.
Yes, that's okay with me.
Okay, good, sister. Fantastic. Brothers, hit Atia up. She sounds like a reasonable sister to me. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know too much about her other than what we just had on this chat. You can hit her up. I mean, keep it halal and everything. Atia, do you have a waly's number, a number that the brothers can contact if they wanted to?
Yes, my dad's number. I mean, I don't know if it's safe. I should do that.
Don't put your dad's number out here. Okay, well, how can the brothers get hold of your father, or even, maybe, you see, the problem here is I don't want to encourage brothers to message sisters on Instagram because it can get a bit messy from there, right? But at the moment, I can't think of a better solution. So what I'm going to do is this, Atia, okay? I'm going to leave it in your hands once we terminate this call. If you want to put it in the chat where the brothers can get hold of you, by all means do so. Okay.
And there's people in the chat asking me if I'm a revert. I'm not a revert. My dad is a revert. He was born in a Christian family. He converted to Islam when he was 19 years old, and he's 47 right now. I'm not a revert. I've been Muslim my whole life. Alhamdulillah.
It doesn't matter, revert, Muslim, all of the companions were
Yeah,
revert.
they make it seem like being a revert is, people in the chat make it seem like it's bad. Allah guided those people to Islam. If anything, that should be a blessing and not a curse. But
The only thing I've said about reverts and Muslims is that, generally speaking, reverts tend to get reverts better than born Muslims, and born Muslims tend to get other born Muslims better than mixing the two together. Why? Because they bring cultural baggage. Uruf. This business of culture is a big deal. If you guys have been, I've seen you guys mentioning that sister in the chat, the niqabi sister. I don't want to say her name, but you will know who I'm talking about, your favorite niqabi YouTuber. You've seen she brings her cultural baggage, her jahiliyyah into the deen. She needs someone who gets that, who also brings that same, I don't want to say jahiliyyah, okay, I want to be careful, but she brings that culture with her, right? So that's why you have to be careful when dealing with reverts. If you yourself are a born Muslim, your cultures might clash. Just be aware of that, okay? Right, Atia, I know you left the stream, but what you do is, Atia, if you want the brothers to be able to get hold of you, put whatever contact details you feel is most appropriate in the comments, inshallah ta'ala. Yallah, we're turning this into a Muslim matrimonial service, baby. Let's go. Right. The Red Mad KDK. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The Red Mad KDK, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Assalamu alaikum. Sumaya, I can see you you're up next, inshallah. I can see you in the stream. You're up next. Yes, Habibi, كيف الحال? What's your name, Akhi?
It's Fahed.
Fahed. What you got for me, Fahed?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What you got for me, Akh? What's your question?
I have no question. I'm just being entertained by the audience.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. What's your question, Akh? Fahed?
Yeah, I have no question. Go ahead. You can skip me.
Okay. Yallah, assalamu alaikum. Sumaya, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's my sister's name.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالك يا sister?
الحمد لله وأنت؟
Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feek. What you got for me?
I just wanted to bring my testimony. So forgive me for my English. English is not my first language. So I am 31. I'm not married, and I understand the causes, and listening to your content, your videos, I understood a lot of things I didn't get before. And honestly, I think that what you say is true. And for my personal case, I think that I had my feminist phase when I was a teenager, and then early 20s. So I was focused on studies and so on. And my family was pushing that. But after I came back to Islam, because I'm from a Muslim family. But I really understood Islam when I was 23. And it changed a lot of things, my vision of life, my vision of marriage. And really it allowed me to work on myself, to remove from myself all this feminism, that makes just no sense. I really understood a lot of things.
Give me an example of something that you used to believe and that you realized was incorrect.
That I didn't need a man in my life. Because in fact, my family history, because my dad died when I was 3 years old, Allahi rahmu. So I grew up, so I was raised with my mother. So I grew up in a single parent family, and my mother was the single parent, and my little brother. So we were 2 kids, and my mother never married again until I was 18. So I never saw my mother being married. And so I saw her working for us, struggling for life and everything. So I thought, well, she's doing fine. She doesn't need a man. So I don't see the point, So, and I understood later how it shaped my vision. And also my mother's family, it's a lot of women who work, and they are the chiefs of the families, in fact. Wow. And so I really thought, well, why would I need a man? I can work, I can have money. And but I'm from an African family. So when my mother heard that I said that I would never get married, she told me, you're an African, you have to get married, you're gonna have kids, you know. And even if you earn millions of dollars, I don't care. Your husband has to take care of you. And I didn't understand that. Honestly, I didn't get it. And
now, what situation do you find yourself in now? Have you been married before, by the way?
I have never been married before.
Okay, so you're never been married and don't have children, obviously.
No children, no.
Okay.
And so now I'm looking to get married, but I've been looking to get married for a few years now. But honestly, I realized the time that I've been wasting. I've wasted so much time, and also,
what has been the number one reason that, in your opinion, that has prevented you from being able to successfully find a husband so far? Because you mentioned you've wasted time. What would be the number one reason, in your opinion?
I had a lot of fears.
Talk to me about that, because I was speaking about that at the beginning of this stream. Fears like what?
Fears like trusting a man. Because I never had a man taking care of me. You know, my father died early when I was only 3 years old. And even in my family, I never saw a man taking care of anything, you know. So I don't know what it is, you know, the relationship with a man, just having the love of a man who takes care of you, who cares about you, you know, who makes sure that everything is fine for you. I never knew that. So to me, it was strange.
How would that inhibit your ability to, you know, potentially connect with another man? Would you, for example, blow him off? Would you just cut contact suddenly? What was the physical manifestation of this fear?
I would do that. Ghosting, like someone would introduce me to a potential suitor, but suddenly I would get an anxiety. I don't know where it comes from. And I would just, when I felt that this man was interested in me and it could potentially work, I would sabotage it. I would, you know, and I didn't know why. Honestly, I didn't know why. It was quite strange, but afterwards, you know, I started reflecting on it, thinking about it, trying to rationalize, to understand. And yes, I had a lot of fears. You know, what is unknown to you.
This business of fears, I spoke about it at the beginning of the stream, and I'll repeat it again because look, guys, you can see first-hand example. I have brothers, who their previous experiences have caused given birth to certain fears, and as a result of that, it has inhibited their ability to take women seriously without blowing it off quickly. So, Sister Sumaya, I'm presuming you're looking to get married?
Yes.
Well, seeing as we're streaming to Bismillah, mashallah, Muslim matrimonial service, where can the brothers get hold of you if they want to be able to pursue a conversation with you?
Okay, I live in France. And just today, one of my mentors, he told me that he had a brother he wanted to introduce me. So I'm on a project since today.
I respect that. I'll tell you why. Because sisters, when you are in communication with a brother, do it one at a time. Because if you start courting multiple brothers at the same time, you're going to get confused. Your heart's going to be pulled in multiple different directions. Not to mention, if any one of those brothers find out that you are talking to other brothers at the same time, he's going to blow you off. This is going to affect his masculine pride deeply. Do men do this? Yes, we're not the same. We can. We are built for that. Polygyny. We can marry you. Never mind talk to you. We can have multiple wives at the same time. Okay, but to you sisters, you're not built for that. Deal with one brother at a time. If it doesn't work out with this one, no problem. The next one. What I will say to you, Sister Sumaya, is if you want to put your email or something in the chat, I'll leave the decision up to you. But again, Instagram, I'm not a fan of Instagram because it's just too close, it's too personal. If you have a waly, so much the better. And yes, I wish you the best, inshallah.
Barakallahu fik, Amin.
Barakallahu fik. Yalla, take care, sister. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, I have tons of you in the stream right now. Yalla, Farid, don't become a stranger. You're next, and then Yunus, and then Omar, and then Al-Naz. Farid, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. How's it going, bro?
الحمد لله. كيف الحال حبيبي؟
Alhamdulillah, ماشي الحال. Bro, I just wanted to ask you first of all just a question.
Did you say
ماشي الحال يعني it's going all right.
الحمد لله. Okay, yes.
تفضل. Mahdi, I've got a question in regards to, before I heard you mention something on one of your videos. You were arguing that brothers should, if they're marrying in the West, they should do just the يعني النكاح الشرعي without actually doing the legal marriage, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
I don't know what the law is for you guys in the UK, but here in Australia what we have is if two people live together essentially for 2 years, they're automatically going to have a de facto relationship. Me personally right now, I'm engaged, right? The woman that I'm engaged to, alhamdulillah, I don't think she's I've vetted her and she's what I want in terms of her personality. I don't think she's going to give me a headache, inshallah, in the future. But what was your rationale in advising brothers to go through with a nikah al-shar'i without doing the actual state legislated marriage?
Very simple, not to involve the government in your finances. Now, you mentioned common law relationships or common law marriage, common law rights. That differs from country to country. I can't speak for Australia. I know in Canada they're really hard on this. But again, I will say to you this, brothers, what do you think wealthy people do? They find ways to hide their money. And this is not the place for me to tell you how to do that. But if you are a man of means and you are a man of money, then you need to speak to those individuals who can guide you in the right direction. You think Bill Gates, like what his wife got, she would have got a whole bunch more. These guys know what they're doing. They know how to play the game. And sometimes even they'll give you a little bit just to satisfy the media. But if you are a man of means, you need to speak to the right people who will teach you what to do, all above board and all legal as well. Speak to those people if you are a man of means. As for the state marriage itself, I don't recommend it, period. Because for what? And for what? It's a meaningless contract. Even if we take out this business of, okay, let's say, for example, it doesn't have any impact on whether she can, take your wealth or not. But still, for what? What do you want to do it? Unless there is an absolute necessity, like an absolute need for it, then for what are you going to do it? What's the benefit, Farid?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's just become like a habit. That's all. It's like a habit, and old habits die hard, as they say. Any other questions, Akhi Farid?
Bro, to be honest, I got one quick question, and this is more to do with all that red pill sort of stuff. Do you agree with the statement that the generality of women are solipsistic, right? And does that not imply that because they're solipsistic, and how you have the idea that they're loyal to the most dominant frame they're in, would you say by implication that means generally women are less, where I'm going, they're less inclined towards iman, let's put it that way?
I mean, look, that's first and foremostly solipsism, for those of you who are in the chat, is essentially self-centeredness, being self-centered, selfish, thinking about yourself above anything. Okay, women have to be solipsistic to a point because they are the vulnerable sex. They are the vulnerable sex. They are the ones who are the weaker sex. They are the ones who have to carry a baby, get pregnant with it, give birth to it, on and on. So to a point, they have to be slightly solipsistic because they're the ones who suffer greater consequences of a failed sexual relationship, right? The consequences of a failed sexual relationship for a man are potentially nothing. He can sow his wild oats if he so wants to and just jet off to a whole nother country and not have to face the consequences of that. For a woman, it's not the case. She could fall pregnant, she could have the child, so on and so forth. As for, is that tied to their iman? I mean, I don't feel qualified to answer this, but I will say this. As you know from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the majority of the inhabitants of the hellfire are women. Why? Well, the Prophet ﷺ said because they curse a lot and they are ungrateful to their husbands. That's as much as I want to talk on it. I'm very cautious about going into deen matters because that's not my lane.
Sure.
Okay, Khalid?
Thank you so much, Mahdi. Jazakallah khair.
Habibi, from Australia. Take care, my man. Assalamu alaikum.
You too, bro. Alaikum salam.
Okay, don't become a stranger. Oh, statistic. Don't become a statistic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Don't become a statistic. Are you there? Assalamu alaikum. Akhi. All right, let's move on. Yunus, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام أخي كيف حالك
كيف الحال? How you doing, Akhi?
Alhamdulillah, I'm great.
1 second. Guys, we've got 108 of you in here and 46 likes. Yeah, I hate to have to repeat this over and over, but it helps the algorithm. If you enjoy the content, please like the video. It takes nothing away from you. And please sub to the channel. 55% of you, according to my analytics, are not sub to the channel. Allah al-Musta'an. What is this? This is disrespectful. Big man thing. Like that. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Someone like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it takes nothing from you. Jazakallah khair. Yalla. Yunus, what you got for me,
Akhi, first and foremost, I wanted to thank you, Akhi, for all the stuff that you're putting out there, because there's not too many guys with the balls to put the stuff, reality out there instead of sugarcoating everything. And some of the stuff that you mentioned, it resonates with me because Akhi, I grew up in the streets. So in the streets, everything is reality. You have to keep things real. And a lot of the things that you mentioned is actually some of the codes and some of the rules on the street, especially with the red pill stuff. And I really like brother Gabriel. Like I really love the brother. And when I found out about you, I was in Egypt. In fact, I was studying the Deen in Egypt. And Akhi, somebody that was studying the Deen, when I came across your content, it had no contradictions with the Deen at all. It had absolutely no contradictions. Akhi, the things that he was mentioning, in fact, it complements the Deen because it keeps you away from the females and some of the stuff that you need to stay away from. And you're only telling us to get better. So I wanted to thank you, Akhi.
Alhamdulillah. I appreciate it, Habibi. Barakallah feek.
And also the reason I came on, Akhi, wallahi, ever since I started watching your stuff, and one of the points he was talking about, when you want to court a female, make sure you look into her family and her parents and stuff like that. And with me, I have a lot of aunties who are single mothers and a lot of daughters, and most of them are feminists. And I realized the other day I was speaking to one of them and I was telling her like get married. I was trying to encourage her to get married, especially in her early 20s, because essentially that's when she's most desired. So, and some of the stuff that were coming out of her mouth was, no, I can wait, this is that. Even if I don't get married in my early 20s, it doesn't matter, because look at my aunties, they're all happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, what does happy mean? Firstly,
exactly. And the truth of the matter was, I thought really deeply about this, and I thought to myself, they don't really see the pain that the aunties are going through. Does that make sense? It's not like they're gonna come out and show it to the little girls. Oh, this is what I'm going through.
Let's talk about that. Are the aunties single?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. And this is especially important for the ladies, so the sisters watching, because older women are misleading and misguiding you, ladies. Why? Because they know they messed up their life. They missed the best years of their life. The ship has sailed and now they're struggling. They don't want to see you have a nice, happy life. So they're going to feed you these sweet lies so that you end up like them. Because to see you actually gain your happiness from finding a husband and settling down and so on will be like salt in the wound for them, and only serves to remind them of their failure of, you know, being able to do this. Second thing is that when someone has made a decision to do something and it turns out to be the wrong decision, a lot of the time their pride will not allow them to admit this. So what do? They put a smiley front. Yes, I'm so happy. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Do like me. No. Behind that smile, they are crying buckets every single night from the pain of loneliness. Women do not gain the same satisfaction from pursuing their careers and doing all that masculine stuff the same way men do. Men get satisfaction from building. Women get satisfaction from nesting. Tafadhal, Yunus.
And there's also part of it is also fear mongering in terms of, because they are single mothers and obviously I understand they want the best for their daughters. So they think the best for their daughters is actually going to university and spending their life in a career. All about career first, instead of actually trying to get a family, because they feel like their daughters can go through what they went through. Does that make sense? So they encourage their daughters to look the other way, but that shouldn't be the case. Does that make sense? So I was thinking about this and I was thinking, no wonder they like this, because they grew up in a household where they are being encouraged in order to go for career first, in order to go for yeah, exactly that. And it's actually sad because wallahi, I have a lot of my cousins, girls, like 10 of them, they all have the same mindset and they're in their 20s, and it's sad. And I don't know how to encourage them. It's like it got to the point where They just straight up, wallahi, Muslim feminist. And I was listening to Brother Gabriel the other day. He was talking about our Muslim girls. Let's not compare. And I was like, brother, you do not know the reality of the West.
Well,
you
you're
don't
on the road, bro. You were on the road, Yunus. Tell us, what's the reality?
Brother, wallahi, it's actually sad because the brother's in Malaysia, and I understand he's trying to help the people, yeah. And a lot of people that speak like him, in fact, yeah. But the reality is the girls in the West, the Muslim girls in the West, literally have the same mindset as the kuffar in the West. It's straight up, wallahi, as simple as that. And in fact, my little girl cousin who is staying with me at my auntie's house right now, she, from her mouth, told me that feminism was encouraged in her school, and she's a feminist. And she's only 16 years old, Akhi.
Ladies, let me tell you something, yeah? An entire economy is being prepared to profit from your spinsterhood. A whole economy, baby, of boxed wine and cat food. Okay, you're Muslim, so it's going to be boxed halal wine and cat food. A whole economy. Go and type on Google, rise of the she economy. I've done a video on this. I can't remember which bank. I always mess up the name. JP Morgan. I forget. One of the major banks. What do banks do? Banks want to make more money. So they do forecasts, projections. What's most likely to be the most profitable investments for us in the future? Guess what just so happened to be one of the most profitable investments? Boxed wine, cat food, sports clothing. Why? Real estate as well. Why? Because 45% of all women between the ages of 25 to 44 by 2030 will be single, according to current trends. Right now, it's already at 43%, by the way, for those of you who think that's a far cry. So they are preparing an entire economy to profit from your spinsterhood. You are a cow and they are milking you. Instead of your baby milking you, the banks will be milking you. Nike will be milking you. Lululemon will be milking you.
And they'll tell you this. And they'll tell you this, Aki. It's not even like they're hiding it. Wallahi, the Muslim sisters are not hiding it. Some of them, even on my Snapchat, when I bring out the topic and I want to speak about it, Aki, some of the messages that I get, I'm like, wallahi, I feel so bad for the Muslim sisters. And there's no hiding it anymore. Literally, their mindset is the same as the feminist mindset. And why wouldn't it be? They're watching the same shows, like you said. They're watching Love Island. Love Island is called, and Love Island, and all these shows that they're watching, and it's literally the same mindset. It's not like they're sitting down and listening to the ulama. Do you know what I mean? And the ones, unfortunately, is bad. But unfortunately, the ulama, the sheikhs that in the Western countries, they're not looking their way, and they're not talking about these type of topics. That's why I appreciate you, because you bring it out there, if that makes sense.
I respect that, and I appreciate that, Yunus. Is there any other questions you want to ask?
That's all I wanted to say, Akhi, man. Jazakallah.
I appreciate you, my man. Jazakallah khair.
You too. Salam.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Jawad, aka the wall, they hit it hard. Yes, absolutely. For those of you who don't know what the wall is when a woman reaches an age whereby she realizes she is unable to be competitive in the sexual marketplace. Or as Muslims, let's just talk in the marriage marketplace. She realizes that suddenly she is no longer able to compete the same way she once was. That's what the wall is. Appreciate the super chat, my man Jawad. Jazakallah khair, Habibi. Much appreciated. And you know what? I really appreciate you guys who pay money to leave a comment. Wallahi. Because that's like a vindication or validation for me that you appreciate the message that I'm putting out there. So I appreciate that. Jawad, Jazakallah khair, my man. Okay. Al-Naz. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Did I get your name right?
Alhamdulillah. El-Naz, yes. I'm actually Iranian.
All right. Okay. Yeah. What you got for me, Al-Naz? Bismillah.
I just wanted to give my sister some advice about marriage.
Okay. Tell me, what is it?
I actually learned this from my Islamic teacher. And anybody who came to ask for her hand, she agreed to everyone. And her logic was, look, I'm a good person and Allah will send me someone good. So she agreed with everyone who came to ask for her. And subhanAllah, when her nasib came, everything was easy. And of course, she prayed the sakhara when she made her decision. And they're happily married. And alhamdulillah, I'm also happily married for 15 years with 4 children.
What do you define as agree to everyone? Define that for me. What does that mean?
Like anybody who came to her family to ask for her hand, she didn't refuse them.
So
But obviously,
she would say yes to everyone.
she would say yes to everyone. Yes.
So a brother would come and say, "Sister, I want to marry you," and she would say yes.
They would come to her family and she would agree. If her family agreed, then she would agree.
I need to be very clear on this. Would she say, "Yes, I agree to marry you, brother," to multiple brothers at the same time?
No.
Okay, because you know that's haram, right?
Yes.
Right. So what is she saying yes to exactly?
So she had a few people came to ask for her, and after she agreed to them, something happened that the marriage didn't go through, and she was happy with Qadar Allah, you know.
Okay, and then so she deals with one brother, it didn't go through, and then she goes on to the next brother. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. That's
And
fine.
there was always a gap in time between the brothers.
No problem. Good, excellent. The problem
And
I
the
had.
only thing I remember, like her ham and gham, you know, was, oh, I didn't finish my fiqh. Like if somebody came to ask for her hand, her stress wouldn't be, oh, what does he have? What does he own? It was always, oh, I need to finish my fiqh. I need to hurry up and finish my fiqh.
Okay, good, tamam. The only issue I take, Al-Naz, is when a sister says yes to multiple brothers at the exact same time. So brother A, brother B, brother C, brother D.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was when a brother came to ask for her, because she trusts that Allah will send her someone good, then she agreed.
Okay, khalas, perfect. No problem in this. Jazakallah khair, sister. Any other questions?
Oh yeah. No questions. Also, there's one advice I feel like really helped my marriage work. Was when I first got married, my father told me, Elnaz, if you want to be happy in your marriage, don't tell your mother anything. And I think that was a very valuable because of how my mom is.
Tell me, what does he mean by that? What does that mean?
Means if I have any problems, don't complain about my husband to my mother.
Very good. I'll take it one step further. If you have any problems, unless you are specifically seeking constructive advice from someone, don't complain to anyone, because you're going to look like a clown the moment that you and your husband make up again. So that's great advice. Okay, yalla, moving on. The Red Mac, I can see you in the chat. You're up next. Atia, Jazakallah khair for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. My email is open to you too if you're interested. I have no idea if you're talking to me or if you're talking to the chat, but Jazakallah khair for the $2 super chat. Jazakallah khair. Okay, the Red Mac, you're next. The Red Mac, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The Red Mac? Nope. Okay. Ahmed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You're in the stream, bro.
الله.
كيف الحال أخي؟
كويس تمام بخير الحمد لله.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, sir. What do you got for me?
Okay, so my question is a simple one. If I recall correctly, in one of your videos, you said that if you're a high value man or a man of resources and you do not decide to take a second wife, you are selfish. Am I right?
I said a woman who wants to keep a man who has resources, vast resources, to herself, that's selfish of her.
Oh, okay. So that's a slip up on my part. I apologize. But
okay. What's the question?
So the main question is, I'm 18, so I'm still.
Before you ask your question, let me just explain to the audience what I meant. Sisters, a man of resources who is able to take care of multiple women is rare. So it is selfish for that man's wife to want him all to herself when that man could be helping, taking care of, looking after another woman, or maybe 2 other women, or 3 other women, because he is capable of doing so, right? She doesn't need all those millions or all those hundreds of thousands or whatever the case may be. She doesn't need it. How much money do you need, right? So that's why I said it's selfish. Yes, Ahmed, tafaddal akhi.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, I'm 18 now. I'm going to Aston University, and I just want to know, would you recommend? I'm going to get married about next year, if all goes well. But would you I don't want to make any false promises to my future spouse. So I don't want to tell her, oh, second wife, you can forget it. Right now, I feel like I will never look at a second wife, but I'm only 18. I don't want to make a decision that's gonna change my life. You know what I mean? So I don't want to speak too early. So I don't know what to do because I'm afraid she might put it in the nikah.
So you're afraid she's gonna put what in the nikah?
No second wife. Like you can't have it.
All right. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
Because I don't want to. She's gonna leave me if I don't agree.
I'll leave you. So because you're young, I'm going to have mercy with you, Akhi. If you were my age, I'd rip you to pieces right now. But how you're feeling at your age is perfectly normal. Why? You're 18. I'm assuming the sister you're dealing with is at a similar age to you?
She's 17 right now. 17.
Okay. So this is a learning curve for the chat. Pay attention. An 18-year-old man and a 17-year-old woman are at polarizing ends of the sexual market value, of their desirability to the marriage marketplace. A 17-year-old woman can pretty much, within reason, potentially get any man she wants, potentially. An 18-year-old man, he's just starting his life. He's right down here. He's right down here, which is okay. And this is not a disrespect to you, Ahmed. I'm just calling it for what it is. Why? Because what women value in men takes time to accrue. What men value in women, they are born with and peaks in their late teens. That's why you are feeling this fear, because you know on some level of consciousness, Ahmed, that there's a disparity between you both. But I'm going to give you a hack, okay? And that hack is this. If you conduct yourself in this way with her, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Have you heard me mention in the past that emotions are contagious? Have you heard me talk about it?
Yes.
Right. Emotions are contagious. If she senses from you that you are scared because you know that, you've got yourself a catch, considering your respective sexual market values, guess what? You are going to infect her with that feeling. I need you to carry yourself, Ahmed, in a way as if you are already at your peak, even though you're not. Are you a man with a plan?
I'm in uni. I'm currently studying natural science, and I want to get into like biomedical engineering.
Okay, how many hours a day do you study?
Approximately 5.
Very
4
good.
to 5.
So it's safe to say that you're hardworking, yes?
Yeah.
Are you disciplined? Or is it sporadic? You are disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's safe to say that if you continue on this journey of putting in that graft 4 to 5 hours a day for 10 years solid, 10 years, inshallah, in 10 years' time, you're going to be at a great place in your career. Inshallah. I need you to carry yourself as if you are already there. Because in 10 years' time, Ahmed, you are going to only start entering your prime. The incline will begin. However, for your wife, the decline begins in terms of what makes her most desirable. Okay? Youth, beauty, fertility. You've heard me mention that. Yes, I know, Dean, and so on. Don't bite my head off, you lot. I get it. Okay? But if you don't pass the eyeball test with a man, you got problems. Now, I know the sisters might be thinking, so what are you saying? If I get old, you're just going to throw me to the side? No. AbuAmerican said it perfectly on my podcast with him the other day. A man marries you, and then you continue to look like, in his eyes, what you look like on day one. Wallahi, I can speak for this. I've been married to a woman for 10 plus years before. She looked the same as when she did when I married her 10 years ago, even though she obviously wasn't. So don't worry about that. But I need you, Ahmed, to carry yourself right now in that manner. And that is, if she raises the topic of polygyny, if she raises that topic, you say to her, yeah, I want to get a second wife. And if she says, oh, no, I'm not going to accept that. Okay, then bounce. Goodbye, ma salam. That is the most likely way for you to keep her. You might think that by doing that, you risk losing her. No. You risk losing her when you don't conduct yourself forward like that. Yeah, me, Ahmed, of course Ahmed's going to have 3 wives, 4 wives. What are you talking about? I study 5 hours a day. I'm disciplined. I'm hardworking. I'm going places. I'm a man who's on his grind. I'm a man who will be desirable to many women, inshallah ta'ala. And I will damn well fulfill that. Ahmed, come on. Ahmed, 1 wife. What are you talking about? Ahmed, one wife. How you have to conduct yourself. Makes sense? I know it's hard, bro. I know it's hard. It's not easy. It sounds good in theory. The theory sounds nice. Conducting it is another thing. But that's my answer to you. Okay, my man. I'm gonna bring on the
Thank
next.
you so much.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Wishing you the best, my man. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Salam.
Right. Aaron Yusuf, €5. Appreciate the super chat, my man. Habibi, jazakallahu khair. Masculinity is toxic until the barbarians are at the gate. Sahla wala. 100% ya bin ammi. This is muttafaqun alayh. This is agreed upon. Very, very sahih. Very sahih. Not just sahih. Very, very sahih. Masculinity is toxic until the barbarians are at the gate. Amen to that, brother. All right. I'm going to bring this up because I want this to be a learning curve for the brothers in the chat. So, brothers, look, this is the sister, Atia again, okay? She said it was for me. Fine. Jazakallah khair. I appreciate it, sister. I want you brothers to see something here. What's the learning curve here? Sister Atia is in her prime. She's 21, right? She knows she has many options available to her. She also knows that I'm married. And yet still, she is open to the possibility of me approaching her for marriage. Now, I'm not going to. But I want you to understand, gentlemen, that this business of, oh, women don't accept polygyny anymore, nonsense. Women make rules for men they don't rate and break them for men they do. Now, this business of rating is a perception. For all you guys know, I could be a facade. I could be a disingenuous facade. Behind closed doors, I might be a completely different individual. It's not the point. The point is the perspective. What does she think? What does that individual think? Right? And that's why I tell you, gentlemen, become and they will come. Wallahi, nearly every day I have a sister sending me a message asking about my availability. Nearly every day. Become and they will come. Atia, I hope inshallah ta'ala you find a good righteous husband. May Allah bless you with one. Khalas, you put your details out there. I'm sure there's plenty of good brothers out there looking to find a good wife, inshallah. Yalla. The Red Mac. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Usman and Sumaya, I can see you guys in the chat. I'm going to bring you on soon in the stream. Sorry. The Red Mac, are you there? No. Usman, Uthman, Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حبيبي كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله وأنت؟
الحمد لله جزاك الله خير. What you got for me, bro?
Bro, I was just thinking, you know the other brother who mentioned like all the women are feminists now, and like obviously you always talk about how like women are natural conformists and everything, as because of the society around them, and like you can't really change it. Right. What hope is there for us in this society if wherever we go, our women are going to be like infected with these ideas?
All right. Even my own wife, Uthman, has been infected with feminism. My wife, even my own wife. Okay? This infection, you are not going to be able to avoid it. However, my wife, alhamdulillah, is, how can I say? I don't want to reveal too much, but she is submissive and obedient. She's submissive and obedient. So even when those traits of feminism might show themselves every now and again, you know, in this environment, it is what it is. You go to a perfume shop, you come out smelling of perfume. You go to the blacksmith, you come out smelling of coal, right? So even though she might have been infected a little bit, she is submissive and she's obedient. So it doesn't matter. Do you see? It doesn't matter. Why? Because she's submissive and she's obedient. So what do you want to look for? You want to look for a sister who is high in trait agreeableness and submissiveness. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes when I find out that a sister is very educated in the deen, like alima, Quran, all that, it's a put off. You know why? Because she comes with her own hard opinions. This has happened so many times in my experience in dealing with brothers who have gotten married to sisters who are alimas, or, you know, so supposedly very knowledgeable in the Quran. The deen is meant to soften you, is meant to make you, you know. Hold on one second. Oh, we have Baba Ali in the chat. We have Baba Ali in the chat. Okay, let me finish this real quick. Baba Ali, if you are here in the discussion, please comment below. I'm going to bring you on, inshallah. I've sent him the link. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Uthman, give me 1 second. We have Baba Ali in the chat waiting. Oh, he's here.
No problem. Don't let me keep you in it.
No, stay there, Akhi. I'm just going to send this voice message. Baba Ali, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Akhi. Hit that link in the stream and then let me know which one you are. Yes. Uthman, what was I saying? Where was I? Yes. You want to find a woman who is high in trait agreeableness. Agreeable, submissive. This is not a bad thing, guys. It's a good thing, because even if she has been infected with this feminism, because she's high in trait agreeableness, to a point it really doesn't matter, because she's agreeable. And, you know, you will have the final say. So long as you're a just man and so on and so forth, you will have the final say. It will be fine. Does that answer your question, Usman?
I was thinking more about, like, you know, the wider societal impact, because if everyone has these ideas, then aren't they all gonna delay their marriages, and eventually they're gonna all be in this predicament where they're gonna be old and regretful, and like I'm seeing this in my own sister and some of my cousins.
Osman, don't overthink it too much. Yes, there will be people who will suffer. As I mentioned to you, 45% of all women between the ages of 25 to 44 will be single and childless by 2030. This is a fact. It's gonna happen. The question you must ask yourself is, am I gonna try and find a woman in the 45%, or am I gonna try and find a sister in the 55%? Start fishing in the 55% now. Okay, my man?
Okay, all right, I'll leave you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Let me try and... Okay, Baba Ali. Baba Ali, where are you? Let me call the brother. You're gonna have to hold out, guys. 1 second. Let me call the brother real quick. If you have a question that you really want asked, please put it in the super chat, because they're the only questions that I'm picking up on and that I will be reading out. Baba Ali, here we go. Yalla. Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry, bro. Your wife messaged me, but I didn't get a contact, so I wasn't aware that. I just saw your request right now.
No worries, no worries. How you doing, Akhi?
Good, alhamdulillah. I'm not usually late to any type of gathering, so this is not my character to be like that. So I apologize for that, bro.
Alhamdulillah, we've had a good life so far. First and foremostly, I appreciate you joining. Jazakallah khair, Akhi. What an honor, Baba Ali, mashallah.
No problem, inshallah.
For those of you who might be coming across you for the first time, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Baba Ali. Many people know me from my old YouTube videos. I was the first Muslim video blogger, as they said, back in 2006. Before that, I used to invent games. That's where the name Baba Ali came from. And then from there, I moved on to different projects, from working on children's programs to being in Muslim films to working on Half Deen, which is the major project I work on now, helping Muslims get married.
And I believe you're a stand-up comic as well, right?
Oh yeah, I've done about 400 shows around the world. So I've done, for about 15 years, I've been traveling. Audiences large as 40,000 people. Done that a few times. Yeah, travel almost every continent performing stand-up comedy for Muslims and non-Muslims.
Tell me, I know this is a slight segue, but I was watching a program the other day. It was a reality TV program, and it was this guy trying stand-up for the first time, and he flopped horribly. And I felt that pain, man. Like, I'm not a funny guy, so I can't imagine. Like, is it stressful trying to make people laugh on cue like that?
Yeah, it is, because sometimes people don't know you're making them laugh. Because sometimes they invite you to an event and they're thinking you're giving them a speech, and they don't introduce you as a comedian, which makes it even more awkward. And most people, like non-Muslims, they go to a comedy show, they're expecting comedy, right? So Muslims, they go to a fundraiser, they're not expecting comedy. They just think you're another fundraiser. So it's a bit awkward, and they don't realize, why is this brother talking like this? And yeah, we don't have any more money. I'm not here for money. I'm here to make you laugh. So which is harder than collecting money, by the way, for some Muslims. So that makes it a bit challenging. And I've been always see different organizations plan things in different ways. So some organizations don't plan things very well. So they don't explain to people we're doing humor or comedy or this is. So I've had one event, I think they'll talk like, I mean, there'll be all kinds of stuff. I could be saying, I've done one event not that long ago where I'm doing fundraiser, and for people who are starving, people who are in need, and where I'm performing, behind me, is all these pictures of people just starving and people just dying. And then I'm supposed to do comedy, and everyone just sees all of these images right behind me while I'm doing this. Oof. Yeah, that no non-Muslim. These are what they do in prank shows, right? They do these type of things as a challenge. Me, this is just my work, working for Muslim organizations. Okay, we're going to talk about death for about an hour. We're going to do punishment of the grave, and then we're going to have you come up and do a little talk for the people, make them laugh.
Wow, that is rough. And
it is super rough.
You make them laugh?
Yeah, I have to make them laugh. I've been invited to everywhere from like Harvard to MIT to like major universities, and then on the other side, I get invited to like small masjids and organizations, and even Saudi Arabia, the princess invited me. Her people invited me to come make them laugh before Saudi was opened up. So they never done, to the best of my knowledge, I was the first Muslim comedian to ever perform there.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's like, and they said just come talk for 10 minutes. They invited me down to talk for 10 minutes and do 10 minutes of humor or whatever. And that was, I only went because of Umrah. I don't care about royal family whatsoever. I can care less. But I wanted to do Umrah, and that was my opportunity to do Umrah. So I said, okay, look, I'll accept the invitation so I can just go do Umrah. And that's what I got out of it.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Well, Baba Ali, I've been in a few of your Clubhouse rooms, mashallah, and the stuff you've been saying is the stuff I've been hearing over and over and over again on this side of the internet. But I know that you come from a position of knowledge, actual hard statistics with your company, Half Our Deen. And one of the things that I heard you mention is that, well, a couple of things that you mentioned. Firstly, you mentioned that sisters are all looking for brothers, and correct me if I misquote you, are all looking for brothers who are in the top 10% echelon. Okay?
Yeah, that's correct.
The thing you mentioned was that those brothers, and correct me if I've misquoted you, who are in the top 10%, they are not looking to get married. Is that correct?
Many of them are not interested.
Many of them are not interested. So
let's
look at that first bit, Akhi, because at face value, this is an extremely depressing statistic that all sisters are looking for brothers in the top 10%. Can you please break that out? What does that mean? What
that means is that, okay, so when people are looking to get married, when you ask a brother, what are you looking to get married for? I'm going to be honest here. We're okay to be honest with your audience here because... Of
course, no, honestly.
Yeah, but the reason I'm asking is because we live in a politically correct world, and people are so accustomed to hearing what they want to hear that whenever someone speaks out of the box, I color outside of the box, this is wrong, this is shocking, no, brothers don't think this way. Brothers have, when I spoke to them, they told me they're only looking for what's inside your heart. No, they're not. So men, number one thing, and I'm already married, so I have no one to impress sisters. So if you don't like it, that's too bad. So the reality is, this is how brothers think. Physical attraction is extremely important for men. In fact, it's number one on their priority list over everything else. They don't care about your intelligence. They don't care about your personality. They don't care about any of these things. Physical attraction is number one. Now, aside from physical attraction, the other things are important if you're looking to get married. There's two types of lists that brothers have. Brothers who, and I'm not saying all Muslim brothers are the same, there's these brothers who go on these dating apps where they're just swiping. Those brothers, number one most important thing for them is the way you look. And number two is the way you look. And number three most important thing is the way you look. Those are the top three things what the brothers care about. Now, a brother who's looking to get married, he is not looking to marry his girlfriend. So all those sisters who are talking to those brothers, and one day this is all going to become halal. No, it's not. Because all the haram stuff he does doesn't get flipped, because now that you're married, that all the past stuff you guys did together, it becomes halal. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I don't know which fiqhi nonsense you guys have been listening to online, but Sheikh Google and Mufti Facebook is not always correct. So the reality is that whatever you did from that on point, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, and how you do it, you decide. You are going to determine, inshallah, if there's barakah in your process or if there's no barakah in your process. So there are brothers who are going to be looking at you as a girlfriend, a temporary relationship, whatever. And if this is how you're going to market yourself, by making it all about your looks, that's what you're going to be attracting. So if you're complaining that I keep finding brothers about this, that's because you are putting yourself out there as a girlfriend material, even though you think I'm doing a wife material. Because a brother who's looking for a wife, the number one thing he's not looking for, number one thing he's looking for is not physical attraction. Number one thing he's looking for is personality and compatibility. The number two thing is attraction. So don't get me wrong, brothers still find physical attraction extremely important, but it's no longer number one on their list. It's very important,
saying,
but it's not
just
other
to clarify,
compatibility issues. Yes.
are you saying if a brother finds a sister who's very compatible personality-wise, but he's not attracted to her at all?
No, you need all these things. These are all the things they need. But number one priority is not physical attraction anymore.
Right.
It's number two.
Tamam.
Number one is personality. Number two, these are requirements. Number three is like there's a couple different things that brothers need, right? They need brother sisters compatible. With compatibility, there's other things that come like personality. But if you ask brothers, what's the number one thing? I like her personality. That clicks. I'm looking for a wife now. Let me tell you guys, brothers, and how men think. When they're looking at a wife, they're thinking, if I have a daughter, I want her to grow up just like her. That's how they're thinking. They don't want this girl with halfway dress, whatever, and she looks like no other basically non-Muslims. Like they're halfway. I can't tell the difference between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, the way you're dressed, right? That's not how I envision my daughter 15 years from now, 16 years from now. I envision her like that. It is the way you carry yourself, the way your adab is, your mannerisms, the way you have respect for yourself. If you don't have respect for yourself, well, how would you expect a man to have respect for you? And how you carry yourself shows you have dignity. The other thing they're looking for is sincerity. There's 5 major things men are looking for. Now, going back to your question, sisters don't have 5 things. Sisters have about 19 things they're looking for. The things that sisters are looking for, which makes it more difficult for them, and some of these things are nothing to do with deen. These are just sister preferences. And I'm not here to tell you, oh, sisters, you shouldn't have these preferences. It's completely up to you. You can make a list of 100 things if you want. But don't complain. Why is it so hard to find someone? Because you need 100 checkboxes to get checked. So what are some things that sisters require, but men don't require, right? For example, height. How many amazing brothers are out there that sister will immediately disqualify you? X. I don't care how much money he makes. I don't care about this. So like, no, I'm not going to talk to him. How tall is he? That's it. Men, have I ever spoken to? So, okay, explain to me exactly if she's 5'3" or not. If she's not 5'3" and she's 5'2", no way. I don't care what kind of sister she is. I've never heard that from a brother.
Sahih.
Other things that sisters are looking for are like, okay, and to be fair, they need this because that's part of the man's responsibility, financial stability. Now, when you're asking for financial stability, this is different for different sisters. For some sisters, they based on their upbringing, they expect a certain lifestyle. And fair enough, some sisters like, I'm looking for 150,000 pounds of mahar. Yeah, you can ask for $1 million if you want. You can ask for $100 million. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. You can ask for whatever you like, but you can't say, I'm going to ask for $1 million, and if no one marries me, Allah did not want it. No, you.
I'm so glad
you decided that. Allah did not decide anything. You decide. So you can decide all the check boxes, and you can make your mahar as big as possible. You can envision your wedding to be with horses and elephants and all these other things that you want to have, everything you want. But just because it doesn't happen, you can't complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is on you. You decide, right? So you can make this. When we get married for ourselves, it's easy. If you want to find a husband or wife for yourself, it's easy. If you want to find a husband or wife to please everybody else, that's where it becomes difficult. To have a simple wedding is easy. If you want to have a wedding to appeal to all the people to say, mashallah, this is the best wedding I've ever been to, that is very, very stressful. And this is when you realize the most stressful people at a wedding are the husband and wife, which is supposed to be the most amazing day in your life, but you're stressed to death because you're so worried about impressing all these people. Who can care less? They're all going to eat your food and poop it out in a few hours. So that's it. That's the reality of it. And guess what? As much as you think you're going to remember this wedding, no, they're not. This is just as important as the last wedding they saw, and the next wedding will be better than this one, and the next wedding will be better than this one, and you'll be forgotten. You know what won't be forgotten? Your bill. That debt that you're now in with your husband or with your wife, that you're starting your new relationship in negative, they're not there. All those guests that came and ate your food and were impressed and clapped for you, they're not there anymore. Now you're left with the debt because you try to impress them with things, trying to impress people you don't even know, because half these people, I don't know who these people are. You're impressing them and you're spending on them. You don't even know them, and they don't even care that much. Realities, guys. There's nothing yeah.
Tell me, Akhi, you have an app, right? Half Our Deen. You have an app.
It's a website. It's a website called Half Deen, and the idea behind Half Deen is to help you find someone that you're compatible with. And stop, so you don't feel. So this is a major issue we have with brothers and sisters today looking to get married. People, when they go to a website like Match or Salams or whatever, and they say, "Oh, we have 4 million profiles," and you think to yourself, "Wow, that's amazing! That's mashallah, 4 million people. That means I have 4 million people to do this with." If I give you what they call here in the United States a resume, or I think in the UK they say CV.
CV, right?
If I told you we need to hire someone for our company, and your task is to hire, we need you to hire the best person. I'm going to put 4 million pieces of paper on your thing, and I need you to go through each one of them and select the one. By the way, there's no information about any of these people. All you have is their picture, their first name, and their age. And how do I find this person? Well, you need to talk to each one. Based on what? Based on the way they look. With all these filters applied to their picture? Yes, my friend. Oh, please, guys, you guys know what exactly I'm talking about. Who has pores anymore? Nobody has pores. I do. I have pores. I don't care. Again, I'm married. I don't care. But it's like all these people look like pieces of plastic. And everyone looks like other pieces of plastic, and everyone's just trying to impress everybody else. Like, what are you guys doing? Anyways. So now you're reduced down to a picture. So what are people going to do? They're going to take the picture they think they're going to get swiped right on. Again, this could be a picture from 5 years ago, 8 years ago. So in reality, they've created a system that was copied from where? From Tinder. The biggest matrimonial thing for non-Muslims is Tinder. Now, what is Tinder's formula? Tinder's formula is to reduce you down to a picture, your first name, your age. Now, which gender do you think designed this? Men or women? Like, which gender would love to reduce you down just to the way you look, how old you are, and your first name? That's all we need. Sounds like more like men. It's designed for men, for men. And women, because they have no other choice, it's the same reason why you guys go to these dumb speed dating events, is because you have no other choice. Not because it's good, not because you like to feel awkward and being interviewed for 3 hours in these speed dating events, is because you have no other choice, and this is the only program your local masjid offers. So this is the main website that everyone goes to because we have no other choice, so they go to it. What they don't realize is that when a app is designed for men, the other half is not going to be happy. And a lot of these men who are using these Muslim dating apps, they're not happy. They're swiping right all the time, 61.9%, while women are swiping right 4.5%. All these data I'm giving you is information that was collected, and this is the stats. On Tinder, 72% of people are men. On a must match, you can actually search this up, by the way. It's not me. Don't take my words for it. Type in the word, if you're on your computer right now, open up a separate tab and type in word male-female ratio must match. Male-female ratio Tinder. And it's going to show you the exact numbers, what they have on the male-female ratio. On Tinder is 72%. And of course, on Muslims, it's not making much of a difference to 66%. So why are only 33% of Muslims using these apps that are female? It's because it doesn't fit the female mindset of, hey, I don't want to just see the way you look like. I need to find out if you're going to be a good husband. Tell me about your personality. What interests do you have? Tell me about like major questions to ideas that you carry about finances, about children, about gender relationship between men and women, about parents, about culture, about religion, how you view your deen. I want to know a lot more about you than just the way you look. Women don't ask you like, okay, just tell me how he looks. If he looks like handsome enough, I'll marry him. Said no woman ever.
Right.
Women,
right.
The reason why they have 19 check boxes is because women, they take a higher risk looking to get married, because once they get pregnant, they're stuck with this child for the rest of their life, and the man moves on, goes marry somebody else.
Yes.
So of course they have to be more selective. Of course they have more check boxes. But what I'm trying to say, and the sisters don't like to hear this, is that when people say don't settle, those are people who are married or people who are never going to get married who are giving you advice. So people who are married, they're already happy. No, don't settle. Those are you just keep going. I'll go back to my husband. We'll live our happily ever after. You just keep going. And then the other people are like, no, they're bitter. Their thing didn't work out. Now they're giving you bad advice because misery loves company.
SubhanAllah. We were just speaking about this. SubhanAllah. You said it better. Misery loves company. So actually, before I ask you that question, let me just put this up real quick. G. Job, Salaam alaikum, Mahdi, Baba Ali. Good stuff, brothers. Allah bless you. I appreciate it, brother. Jazakallah khair. Just showing that love. I appreciate it. Jazakumullah khair. And those of you who are viewing, please like and sub the channel. It would be much appreciated. So Baba Ali, obviously, you have seen the problems that exist in Muslim dating apps. I have never used a Muslim dating app myself. I got married too long ago for that.
Me too.
So I have no experience of it. But you run a matrimonial service. You understand that there are a number of flaws with these other dating apps, Muslim or otherwise. What major problems that you have identified that you have implemented or corrected in Half Our Deen that make, that have provided a solution for brothers and sisters? Because you're very
I want you guys to think from a non-Muslim perspective for 1 second, all right? I want you to imagine I made this new app called MuslimDatingApp.com. That's my new app. It's called Muslim Dating App. It's a very generic name. I just made it. And I need to get money so I can compete with Muzmatch and Salams. And you're like, Baba Ali, what's the difference between you, Tinder, Minder, this, that? So we're all the same. They all make money. We're going to make money too. You're like, okay, fine, Baba Ali. We're going to take all our money and we're going to invest $1 million. That's all my entire life savings. It took me forever to save it. I'll give it all to you. I said, fantastic. And I want you to imagine you're not a non-Muslim, okay? Because there's a lot of venture capitalists. Money comes from non-Muslims. So you're like, okay, you're the first question you ask, if any of you guys are investing in any company, is how do I make my money back, right? That's the number one question we ask. In any investment, if I don't want to invest in gold or I want to invest in this, how do I get my money back? That's the first question. And how much do I get back? That's the second question you get. So if I'm putting $1 million and you're competing with 100 different websites, how am I making my money back? Well, how do we make money? Well, the way we make money is by people swiping. They can make a free profile. Every single time they swipe, we make money. Oh, so as long as they keep swiping, we keep making money? Yes. And as long as we make this pool of people bigger, better. Fantastic. Okay. How do they stop swiping? Under two conditions. One, they find their other half. They find someone to get married to and they leave. Or two, they give up because it just lost hope. Everyone I keep swiping and nothing happens. So our goal as investors is hire this team, find every single way to keep people swiping. Wow. That's all we can. I don't care if they get married. I don't care if they don't get married. As long as they're swiping, we're making money. I just guys want to keep that in mind. Look at the business side for a second. Okay, we don't think about this side. This is the business side. This is how they're thinking. Okay, so now that this is the idea, if you find your half on this website, we lose you. That's a paying customer. So I want you to imagine it from a drug dealer's perspective. A drug dealer is selling drugs. As long as you keep taking the drugs and you're going to come back giving you money, keep taking the drugs, taking money. If I give you too much, you will die and I lose a customer. If you go to rehab and fix your drug problem and you're no longer addicted, I lose a customer. Right. So they don't want necessarily for you to get married. It's not designed for you to get married. It's designed for you to keep swiping. So the way Half Our Deen is different is my primary goal has never been money, even though it is a for-profit business. Why? Is because if you look at my pricing, it is cheaper than everybody else's. And since 2010 till today, our annual membership went up by $2 per month. That is 11 years. Even inflation has gone way more than $2. Right? So we went and it wasn't even expensive to start with. It was $5 a month, and we moved to $7 a month in 11 years. During that entire period, we've redesigned the website. We have 7 paid people on staff. We have no volunteers. We run on fast servers. We do all these things, and we brought all these features that nobody has. I can say that. I can vouch me for that. You can put this on the comments, and I openly challenge any Muslim matrimonial site that even has, I want to say even all my features, half of the features that we carry. So what do we do on Half Our Deen? For those who are not familiar, this is how it's different. Instead of just your picture, your first name, your age, we have all that stuff. When you join Half Our Deen, this is what you do. You take a personality test so we can learn about your personality. You take an attraction test so we can find out what you're attracted to. Then you take a tolerance test. Why we take a tolerance test? Because many of you people, especially those who are listening to me who've been married before, married someone you're attracted to, but not someone you can tolerate. Sure. And that's why you divorced them. This is the most amazing person in the entire world, and I can't stand this person now. What happened? Were they not attracted? They were attractive, but I couldn't tolerate them. That same person will go marry somebody else, and somebody else will be living happily ever after because they can tolerate them. That's the difference. So that wasn't meant for you, it was meant for somebody else. Now you learned, man, now imagine this, brother. They're gonna come to you the first time they're looking to get married. It says, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for this, 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 this. Now this divorced person has a different tone completely. What are you looking for? Well, let me tell you what I don't want. I can't stand a sister like this, like this. Oh, wait, now you realize what you can't handle? Yes, now I know I can't handle a sister who's selfish or a sister who's not financially responsible because you saw your relationship break into pieces. So why do you have to learn through divorce? So what we do is we figure out what you can't tolerate so you don't waste time with people that don't work with you. The next thing you do is we ask you over 100 interests to choose it, including organizations. If you choose Zaytuna, we're more like Hamza Yusuf, If you choose Al-Maghrib, you're more like Yasir Qadi's type of thing. If you're more like Baina, like Noman Khan, based on even the organization you choose, it lets people know a little bit if we're more aligned in the way of thinking. Because as you know, a Salafi Muslim and a Sufi Muslim, just because they're both practicing doesn't mean they're going to necessarily be a good match for each other. So we're not here to tell you if you're a good Muslim or a bad Muslim. We just want to see how your understanding is so you can see if you're aligned or not. Right? So then we move after that, we have the next thing. We have something called priorities. We give you 10 things, and we ask you to order it from the most important to least important. For example, intelligence, kindness, desire for children, similar religious understanding, similar education, generous. And you're going to take these words, manners, patience, and what is the most important of all of these things? And you're going to put in your order. What's the least important? What's second most? What's third most? And you'll see your list of 10. Every profile you look at, you see their list of 10, and it says how you guys match up. So if your desire for children is number 1, but that sister's desire for children is number 10, now you know what you guys need to discuss if your families are communicating with each other, inshallah. Instead of just guessing. So tell me about yourself. You talk 2, 3, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, only to find out this is not a good person for you. That's a lot of waste time, especially sisters who are listening. Most of you, the most precious thing you have is not your beauty. The most precious thing you have is your time. And if you waste 3 months on this brother and 4 months on this brother and a year on this brother, he just took 1 year of your life away. And your prime years are in your 20s. Ask any sister in her 30s how much easier it was for when you get married in the 30s. Do you really want to give this precious time away? Men are leeches. They will take your time away. Men are like politicians. We will tell you exactly what you want to hear, just like politicians will. Vote for me. I'll be your #1 candidate. Vote for me. I'll give you everything you need. And as soon as you hire him, you're
Sorry,
gone.
Ali. The name of your app. Can you lift up your t-shirt, please?
Yes, it's not an app. It's called Half Deen. So if you go to Half Deen.
Lift up your shirt.
Oh.
Put it on your shirt. Yeah, there we go.
So if you see it, it looks like this. It's Half Deen. Right. So if you go to Half Deen, I'm going to put it in the chat here. And you guys can go and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to go beyond what I'm saying. But wait, we haven't just talked about the priorities. We haven't gone to the main ingredient here. 158 questions we ask. And we ask you like finance questions, lifestyle questions, questions about culture, questions about this, and see where you're understanding, questions about children. And the questions don't have necessarily right or wrong answers. I'll give you one of the questions we have on the #1 question on our first question you could ask on the children's quiz. Who do you think has the greatest influence on a child's life? Their parents, their friends, or their teachers? As you can see, that pause tells you that there's no right or wrong answer. And this is how you know a question is good. There's no right or wrong. And this is what we do. We are very, very selective in the questions we ask because we only ask about 7 or 8 questions per quiz. And we ask you to answer all of these questions on all of these quizzes. By the time you finish them, there's about 20 quizzes you finish, 158 answers. And then when you click on a profile, you will see every single one of her answers. And when you want to click on a question, it will show you, you answered this way, she answered this way. You were a match. Here, you're not aligned. This is where you think differently. This is where you think the same. This is where you think differently. So instead of you manually asking 100 sisters these questions, you have all their answers. And on top of that is already calculating on finances, you're 84% match. But on Deen, you're only 50%. On this, you're 14%. On food, you're 33% match. Okay, where do we mismatch on food? Then you click on the food quiz to see exactly where you mismatch on food. Food is not that important, guys, for those who are just, but just we have some lighter things, so it's not all super serious because marriage is everything. It's not just one piece. So now that I have priorities, I see interest, I see their personality, I see 158 answers to quiz questions, I see all these type of things. I have a lot more data before I initiate contact. And then the last and final thing, and this is what I use to help myself get married, is something called deal breakers. 5 questions you want people to answer before they contact you. So and these are questions you can choose from a database that Baba Ali has put it there himself, or you can type up your own. And it says deal breakers. Everyone has their own tab of deal breaker questions. Everybody has 5 questions. A question could be something very customized to you. So if you happen to live in London, one of the questions you may ask is, are you willing to relocate to London? It's very specific to you. Nobody else may have that question on their profile, but you do. Are you okay with living with your in-laws? Are you okay with a husband who's not a doctor engineer? Are you blah, blah, blah? Any question you want people to answer, and you get 5 of them, and use these 5 answers to these questions to filter out sisters that are not compatible with you. The whole idea for every single one of these features is to filter, 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 filter. I am doing the exact opposite. I don't want you to talk to 4 million people. I think that is the most unattractive idea. When I was doing this, I want to talk to 1, maybe 2 sisters, maximum. And so what I'm telling you, I applied to myself back in 2001. When I was looking to get married, I wasn't sure which website was. So I joined as many as I could. And when I joined these websites, I said, the last thing I want to do is talk to 20, 30, 40 sisters. I don't want to do that. So I'll be very, very specific on what I am, my weaknesses, my strengths, everything in detail, because all I want is to have 1 sister respond to me. See, a lot of people are like, why aren't enough people contacting me? No, I don't want that. I just waiting. I don't care if it takes me 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, just 1 person contacting me says, I am that sister you're looking for. That's what I'm looking for, because I can only get married to 1 sister right now. I'm not looking to marry 10 sisters, 1. So what happened is 17 sisters contacted me. And you're saying, mashallah. Don't say mashallah, because that's a problem for me. I don't want to talk to 17 sisters. So what I did is I came up with a series of questions which I didn't have right or wrong answers, sent it to all 17. Of the 17, only 1 answered it correctly. That's the one I married 20 years ago.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So those questions, people are like, oh, that's your deal breakers. Exactly. And that's why that feature is part of Half Deen. So when after I got married, my friend noticed how happy I was for many years and said, Ali, I've been using these sites too. Doesn't work for me. Can I use one of your filters? I said, yeah, try deal breakers. And she said, okay, let me try asking questions. So he took the same system, asked it. He's been married for 14 years and has 3 children. He's my first success story. After that, I realized, well, there's a lot of people that may be in the same shoes as I am, and that's where the idea of Half Deen came. Otherwise, what's the point of building another speed dating, halal dating, whatever nonsense? There's no halal dating, but any of these dating apps, what's the point of making another one of those? We have already 100 of them. We don't need more. We need the alternative to those. And my website is not designed for most of you. I'll be honest. I'm not trying to ask you guys, please come join my website. I don't. This is for marriage-minded Muslims. So if you're marriage-minded and you're looking to get married, my website's for you. If you're not looking to get married, there's Muzzmatch and there's Minder and all these other stuff. You can go use those apps. Please do not waste your time on my site. I am trying to attract more serious people. Even then, not every single person on my website is going to be marriage content, because I can't control who joins us. But what I can control is what I'm saying right now. The last thing I'll say here, inshallah, it's something you will never hear. I can almost guarantee this from any person that ever on this show or any other show that runs their own matrimonial site. What I'm about to tell you, it sounds very strange that I'm about to say. If I was you and you're looking to get married and you're serious, I wouldn't just join Half Deen. I would join even my competitors. Every halal, keyword here, halal matrimonial site. Stay away from the dating apps, stay away from the swiping apps, because you don't know where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you to have. We want to marry, I live in Los Angeles. I would love to marry a sister from Los Angeles, very easy. I don't have to worry about things, but I don't know where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put my half. I didn't know she'll be born in Kenya and she'll be studying in London. That's where my wife is from. So my wife is from a different world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us in pairs, but who told you that the pair will be down the street from you? You don't know where the other half is. So you make your net very, very small and like, I can't find anybody. Well, that's your fault. You made your net small. Make your net vast and see what this catches. And all you need is that one fish that matches with you, inshallah. Sorry for speaking for so long, but I want to make sure I'm thorough and I answered your question in detail. So again,
it was very interesting. I speak frequently about the fact that emotions are contagious, right? When you want to make people laugh, what do? You must laugh first. When you want to make people cry, what do? You must cry first, right? When you see a scene on TV and the actress is crying, you start welling up with tears. Emotions are contagious. And it's very clear in your passion. Your passion is infectious. It's very contagious, you know? If I was looking to get married, I want to hit up the Half Our Deen right now myself, you know? But I have
do you know why I feel that way? Because I went through it myself.
Because what, sorry?
I went through it myself. I was that single Muslim looking to get married, and I had trouble. Let me tell you why trouble. Because some of you have your parents, but then you're like, Baba Ali, my parents are great. They're really good people, but they're cultural, not religious, right? I can't go through them. Then I say, okay, you have your friends. Yeah, my friends are really nice, and they got married, and they're happily married, but they're not the best matchmakers. They don't know, like they introduced me to this brother and this is. I'm like, brother, are you kidding me? Why would you think I would be a good person for them? So they're good friends. Because they're good friends doesn't mean necessarily they're good business people or they're good at certain things. They're just good friends. It's good friendship, but they're not matchmakers, right? Or you go to the local imam. And the local imam, to be fair, he studied fiqh Islamic history, he's for Aqidah. There was no Islamic matchmaking course in of Azhar in Medina. There's no class for, this is how you matchmake. That's not what they're designed for. You know, they don't go to the Prophet ﷺ, ask him regarding certain dunya things. They ask him a question regarding planting date trees or what we should do for a harvest. And when the things didn't come out the way they wanted, they went to the Prophet and asked him, why did this come out? I said, I'm not here for that. You guys asked my personal opinion. I gave you my personal opinion for that. So the wahi comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I'm telling you for asking about palm trees, for date trees, I just give you my own personal preference, right? So we go to certain people and we're hoping, like, you don't go to your local imam and ask him how to run your corporate taxes. He doesn't know how to do that. But he's a knowledgeable person, but not knowledgeable in that field, right? You go seek knowledge from those who are knowledgeable. This is what I do. This is why I don't introduce myself as a comedian, even though I, alhamdulillah, have been a very successful comedian. That's not my passion. And if I retire tomorrow and I've done 15 years, 16 years of stand-up comedy, I will not have any regrets. If I become a multi-millionaire, you can tell from my passion, this is what people retire to do what I want to do, because there's a very famous saying that says, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And half deen is what I love.
Allahu Akbar. So I have a question for you, Baba Ali. You've triggered a number of questions, but the first question I want to ask you is, how did you come to these questions that you had, this 154, 158 questions? What was the process that you went through of refining and getting to this end result of questions? It must have been like a...
Yes, excellent question. Excellent question. So what I did is I said, okay, different people have different levels of expertise in different things. So let me go to a scholar and ask him, hey, if you had to ask just 8 marriage questions to figure out where someone is aligned or not aligned, which 8 questions would you ask? Then I asked someone else, what were the questions you asked for this? What questions? So I took a lot of research, a lot of detail, a lot of back and forth until these questions get asked. So even the fact that you have 158 answers, this is also another sign that we may not be aware of. Let's say for the sisters, for example, a lot of you guys already know one of the hardest things when you're speaking to a brother is just to get information out of them. What are you looking for for a wife? A good Muslim. What's everything it's like they're charging them by the word. So the brother's talking minimum number of words. So sisters, hard to extract information from the brothers. Now I want you guys, sisters who are listening to this right now, imagine you talk to a brother and you say, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna make up 158 questions and go give it to every brother that I'm talking to for marriage. You want to see how fast men run? Just give them 158 questions and watch how fast men run away. That's what they do. Okay. So men, when they will get scared of that, I will tell you, I will get scared of it. And even if he thinks you're amazing, you find one brother who's crazy enough to do it. Crazy enough, yes, it's crazy to answer 158 questions at once. How would you get the next brother to do it, and the next brother to do it, and the next brother to do it? You can't. Men are not designed for this. Now, a lot of sisters are willing to do it because they understand the importance of compatibility. Men see the bigger picture. They don't see the details. Women see details, men see the bigger picture. Our minds are wired differently. So to get men to do this is very hard. So now you're probably asking, Baba Ali, how'd you get all these men to do this? So, how did you convince all of these men to answer 158 questions? That's crazy. Like, I wouldn't, if you're saying you wouldn't even do it yourself, no, I wouldn't. If a sister approached me, I wouldn't do it. But there is a way to make a man do certain things, all right? So it's, the way I did it is I created a system where I thought how men think. Men, what do they love? Video games. And when they play video games, they beat level 1, they go to level 2, then level 3, then level 4, then level 5. And then when they finally finish the last and final level, they go to their wife and say, I won, I beat the game. And your wife's like, what'd you win? Nothing. So what are you talking about? I said, I finished the game. Okay, good for you. So what, you spent 18 hours and all you can say, you just watch the credits roll? Yeah. And the wife's like, what are you thinking? It's like, the women don't do that. So women, their brains are wired differently. So what happens with men is they like to level up. But instead of, what if that finishing the game actually got you something? How much more would men play certain games? There was actually an end goal to something. So what I did is I said, listen, men, if you answer all of the quiz, and there's a lot of questions, I know it is, 158, I'll give you a special prize. Like, okay, what is it? You get to show up on the top of search results. So when people sort by top members, you show up first. Now, this is something that other websites will charge you for. So instead of charging and making some extra money on the site, because obviously I think a lot of people would pay to show up first, that's why Google makes their money. show up on top of search results, show up Google Ads. That's how they make them a lot of money. So what I did is that instead of making money, again, my priority here isn't money, is quality. You give me quality, I will give you what you want, top of search results. And this is, again, another way to filter out men who are more serious than those who aren't. Because those who are, that's why I call them the top members. About 69 or 70% of all men, of the men, I just did a quick stat the other day of everyone who joined this year. How many people have made all their members? How many have done all of their quizzes? I think it was 70 something. And how many people are like at least some of their quizzes? It's like 85 or 80 something, 85 or something. I forgot what number exactly, so don't quote me. But the vast majority realize what the value of this is, because when you go to someone's profile, it says lifestyle 0 or question mark. You don't know what do you mean? How do we match up? Well, so take your quizzes, so you can. She's already answered her quizzes. Answer yours. Calculate in less than a second and a half, 2 seconds.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, you guys have the Navy SEALs in America, right? It's like the cream of the crop in terms of the US military, Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs, you have to pass like the test to become a Navy SEAL. Most people fail it, basically. Most people drop out in Hell Week if you even made it that far. But if you do pass Navy SEALs, you are the cream of the crop of the US military. This is what this reminds me of, that because there is a lot to get through, it is almost a deterrent, exactly as you said, for time wasters. In the Navy SEALs, it's a deterrent to fat, out of shape, mentally weak, or whatever. It's a filtration process. And
it's a great analogy.
That this is a filtration process so that you can end up with your US Navy SEALs, your Muslim Navy SEAls, if you like.
And you don't have 4 million Navy SEAls. You have a much smaller number. And this is why Half Deen only has about 2,500 members. And by the way, you only count active members. What is an active member? It's someone who's actually paying. So if someone's not even paying, it's a free account, whatever, that's not really an active member. So we don't really count those people. We want to count people who are part of this, or even on the trial code, they're only temporarily here. And that's what we do. So other websites, if you join, so we have 4 million people or 10 million people. Yeah, this guy was on the website 12 years ago. He has 3 kids now, and his profile's still there.
Right.
That's garbage. Right. It's attractive because all these people come. And by the way, it's another thing we don't do, is that we don't use your picture, we don't use your profile, we don't show you anybody's on the website until you actually join. So when you do join, you only see the opposite gender. So if, let's say both of us are single, and both of us are sisters, for example, and we both join the website, we both teach, hey, you should join, yeah, I should join too. If you join, I'll join, okay. We both join, we'll never see each other because you can only see the opposite gender.
Right, I got you.
Why is this? Is because we know the backbiting, we know the idea of how people are viewed when they use certain websites, and a lot of sisters, even though this technology is new, it's not that new, they still want to meet people traditionally. And we have very famous Muslims, which I can't mention by name. If I mention every single person of your audience, I can almost guarantee knows who these people by name are. They use Half Deen and no one even knows it, because they used it, they're gone. And they don't even tell people if they've met someone through Half Deen or not. They want to keep it private. Directors of masjids, Fortune 500 CEO, all kinds of people use it and they'll leave, and they don't want anyone to know they use Half Deen. Because as soon as you deactivate, your profile goes poof, disappears. You don't show up in search results, you don't advertise, we don't even use your picture for advertisements, we don't use anything like that. Even when I make tutorial videos, I don't even use your picture. So I have to, I'm that concerned about privacy because, as I said earlier, I went through what you went through. I was working at Islamic school a long time ago and looking to get married. And I don't know if teaching a computer class, and I think the kids found my profile online or something. And then that's the last thing you want. I don't want people to know I'm looking on Half Deen or any website to look at married. It's like, just imagine Baba Ali was looking right now.
Yeah.
I don't want people to know. I want to get in, get out, and disappear.
So, Baba Ali, are you telling me then that dating apps, Muslim or not, are not set up principally to help the customer per se? They are set up principally to print cash, because the nature of the beast is that the longer we can keep you here, the more we can make from you.
You think about it. Why would the Muslim match? And look at this is public information. Go look at their seed funding for $7 million. You think it's because of the generosity of their good heart? Which masjid has ever raised $7 million at a fundraiser? And you get reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for building a masjid and stuff like that. We can barely get a few pounds here and there. People invest because this is a business. And don't get me wrong, I have said this transparent. Half Our Deen is a business too. And I'm being transparent about it. But my primary reason, decisions are not based on money. My primary reason is based on features and how I can be success, because my model is a bit different. My model is not, I don't have the funding as the other places do. I don't have the staff as other people do. So I said, let me do something different. Instead of making a product that is sold, buy, I make a product that's bought. And the only way to make a product that is bought is to make a product that actually works and is successful and works for people, and people get married off of it. If the product is garbage and I go into it and there is no priorities, there's no quizzes that Baba Ali was talking about, you will cancel tomorrow and you'll tell everybody else to cancel, and I will never grow.
So you'll
the
have
only
a
way
high
I've grown is by making it successful, yes.
Your churn rate will be high then.
Exactly.
But
I wouldn't be here for 11 years, by the way. Way longer than most of these people have been. People have
So
come and gone every year.
Are you saying then that these very successful Muslim dating apps from a business standpoint are on a short fuse and they're burning the candle at both ends? Is that what you're saying? Because if they're
I think it will come to a point. Yeah, it's going to come to a point that when people are not being successful at it, they will start looking at other means. Right now, it's just popular because it's like the Muslim version of Tinder. What we don't realize is kind of like all these ideas we take from the non-Muslim world and we apply it to Muslims, like the LGBTQ things. This was not a discussion we had 5 years ago in any scholarship. I don't care if you're Sufi or Salafi. I don't care if you're Shia or Sunni. But once you start taking these ideas that we never had, is LGBTQ halal now? Is the act itself halal? If you start taking these ideas and start applying it to Muslims and opening doors, opening books that were already closed, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a period, but now you're putting a question mark. You will take the consequences with those things too. Just like as Muslims, we start accepting this idea of dating. Now we have unwanted pregnancies, we have infidelity, we have all these things. We never really had a major issue within the Muslim communities. We have a lot of people like doing things and we don't realize there's consequences that come with it. So now we have dating apps becoming a norm thing. We will have the same things that other people have. Let me give you an example. Let's go look at Tinder because that's the model we're copying. 30% of the people on Tinder, by the way, look all this up. It's called something called Pew Research, PEW Research. They've already done the statistics on this stuff. So Baba Ali, you can confirm all this stuff. About 30% of the people on Tinder are already married. Another 12% on top of that are in a relationship, whatever that means. So that's 42% of people.
Wow.
So just sometimes you're not happy. Sometimes, they say, this is fun. I'm bored. How many sisters are bored? How many brothers are bored in the relationship?
It's an interesting point here because, again, I have no experience with dating apps, so I can't speak. And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong or, let me know. But I have heard that a lot of women, not necessarily sisters, I don't know if it's happening amongst sisters, but I heard this from a non-Muslim content creator, that a lot of women set up dating profiles just because of the dopamine hit they get when men are swiping right on their profiles, and it makes them feel good.
Yeah, I can't speak on that behalf because I don't know. I never asked sisters. I don't know sisters who do it, but I mean, this is a natural thing that some people like attention. Not all sisters. Some sisters like attention. Maybe they don't get the attention from home, and they get it from a different way. Maybe they don't have any intention to do anything with that, but you're playing with fire. And the thing is, here's this thing for the sisters, if you guys are listening to the show right now. There's two types of stimulation. Men are stimulated by their eyes. This is no surprise. This is why we're visually stimulated. The way you dress, the way you think. This is why they sell all these non-Muslims, they sell these products to people based on putting a guy's shaving and has a half-naked girl behind them. Why does a girl have to do with anything with shaving? Or there's a car and the girl's driving it. All these things, there's nothing to do with the product or making it better, but the girl with a short skirt and stuff like that, they're selling it by using this, right? That's not how they sell products to women. It's by hearing. Women are verbally stimulated. So when men want to talk to women, it's not just the way he looks, it's what he's saying to you. And if he uses the right words, he starts mesmerizing you. If he has the looks and the words, you're in la la land. You see butterflies, you see things, little hearts floating around you. Everything you can say, he's just so perfect. It takes a waly to see right through him. Because your waly won't be mesmerized, because men are not stimulated by this.
Please speak on that. Please speak on the importance of a waly and what are the consequences of going it alone as a woman. Please speak on that, Akhi.
Well,
I'll tell you what, I had a brother come onto my live a few months ago, and the audacity of this brother, he said to me, Mahdi, I'm a doctor, I live in such and such country. I don't even know why I'm hiding his identity, because he just came on. He said, basically, so I've been in this relationship with this woman and we've been intimate, you know, everything's fine. And she wants to marry me now, but I don't want to make her the mother of my children because we've been intimate all of this time. The irony, you know, the irony. So
that's what I said earlier. They don't want to marry their girlfriend. They want to marry their wife.
What you said earlier, exactly. So please speak on this, the importance of involving your wali at what stage, because a lot of sisters have this fear that my dad or my brother is not open to him, or my dad doesn't know, my brother doesn't know, you know, I know.
Because you know why, sisters, you say that sometimes, not all sisters, but why sometimes you say that? Sometimes you're right. The brother maybe has very cultural mentality, they don't have deen on their mind. But if the brother fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he's thinking straight, okay? And he may not like the brother. And he loves you. Unless you think your brother or your father is your sworn enemy. It's out of a love, they're saying, there's something wrong with them. But you don't see it because you've been stimulated by this. He doesn't get stimulated by this, right? He just says, talk to me. There's nothing you can do as a man to sweet talk me. It doesn't work with me. It has zero effect on us. And men know that. So now he has to come to his true colors. And a lot of times when you start you test the man with the waters by saying, hey, I want you to meet my wali. No, let's just slow down. Let's take our time. Why we're rushing so quickly? That's the biggest red flag of all, sisters, right? And he's, again, sweet talking you to see how long he can string you along. They're like leeches. Instead of sucking your blood, they're sucking your time. And so what they're doing is they're pulling you along. And a year from now, like, yeah, you know what? My parents don't want to marry someone that's from your country. So why you been talking to me for an hour? Like a year. You knew this the whole time. And this man's just stringing you along because maybe he can get something else out of you, not marriage.
Right.
And this is the part that sisters don't get. No, of course, he's not like this. He's not like the other men. He's different. How? Because I judged him by this. I listened to him. He said the right words to me. Do you think for 1 second he just learned to say the right words just yesterday? How many sisters have you spoken to before you? How many times have you spoken to someone and you said something inappropriate and then she dropped them? He says, okay, don't say that anymore. Then he does something else and he says, oh, don't say that anymore. And then he quickly learns through this thing that non-Muslims call game. And now I've made it into an art. Give me any sister, I can say the right words to them. And some men are gifted with this. And then you get fooled.
Right.
And this is why the wali is important. So he can see something. Is having a second check, a second inspection before it passes through. Does it guarantee that that person will be the best person? No. But what it does is it kind of like gives you that second check that you need instead of just saying, look, I'm good to go. Okay, don't complain, sisters. A year from now, I never knew these things about him. He wasn't apparent about these things. So that's unfortunately what happens.
Your business model, it reminds me of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Bezos said to his investors, he said to them, look, guys, either this thing is going to be the biggest thing in the world or it's going to fail. But one thing, don't ask me for any money for at least 10 years. You're not going to see nothing. Either you're with me or you're not. And as you know, in the VC world, venture capitalists typically expect to see their money back within 5 to 7 years. 10 years is a real stretch, you know. And I think he didn't actually give his investors back any money until 12 or 15 years after Amazon was founded. And for like 10 years, Amazon were in debt, but he had a plan. He knew exactly what he was doing. This business model here reminds me of that. Why? Because you're playing the long game. Now, I know nothing about this world, but if what you're saying is it plays out the way that it sounds it will, because customers will eventually get fed up of a poor experience, it sounds to me that Half Our Deen will be there to eat the carcasses of these other dating apps or Muslim dating apps, matrimonial services, if they don't perform in the long run. Because of your vetting service, your vetting criteria. It might be long in the short run, but in the long run, Akhi, it sounds to me that you've got something very special.
Yes. So our staff, most of our staff, the Muslim people on our staff are women. Almost all except for one. Just one. You know who the one person that's not a woman on our team?
You.
Our first Half Our Deen success story.
Okay.
Who makes much more money working outside of Half Our Deen, but chooses to work on Half Deen because he says, I want people to get what I got. He's completely anonymous. He never mentions he's the first success story. He doesn't go by even his legal name. But he just contributes, and I say, look, I can't accept your volunteer time, even though he constantly keeps pushing it. I say every single thing within our company needs to be paid, even if you want to volunteer. I don't care. You're going to get paid. I'm not going to pay you like on half of whatever the Muslim organization. I'm going to pay you what you asked me to. In fact, he asked for this. I paid him more. So every single person on Half Deen is, imagine a Muslim organization that they accept no volunteers. Said no one ever. Nobody. We're the one organization that accepts no volunteers. Why? Because we have no hesitation paying non-Muslims for their services, but the Muslims, we will not pay you because do a fi sabilillah. How does that formula work? And then they're surprised when their company goes bankrupt in 6 months because of greed, because I benefit and on the backs of others. No, you pay the people on their time and you pay them what they are happy with, and khalas, that's it. And then there's no surprise. Alhamdulillah, the business has been going for 11 years. In fact, we have not been non-profitable since day one. Every single company that starts, there is a period of time. If you open a restaurant tomorrow, you will not be in profit. You have to pay back your expenses. You have to pay for this. You have to build a customer base. From the very beginning, the first weekend, we have been profitable for 11 years. That is not by accident. We do things right, and we do things. It's being Muslim in the masjid, praying, fasting, Hajj. That's easy. You want to see what a real Muslim is like? Do business with him or her. Then you're going to see the real colors come out. And a lot of people, they had relationships break because of this. So mine is the opposite. Our connection with these people who've come together from different parts of the world, we all work together on Half Deen, is we've come together because of this instead of breaking. So we have the same passion. Many of us, it's not really about the money whatsoever. Even though we all make money, the passion is we want to help people get married because we felt it. We know how it feels like to be single and Muslim and nobody helping us. I was a convert, couldn't go to my family, couldn't go to my friends. I had no masjid program locally I can go through. What am I supposed to do? So I went online. And many people right now, you give up. You tried everything, nothing worked out. So now you're on a dating app and you're like, this is a disaster. This is not working out either. So when all that stuff finishes, and you tried everything else, welcome to Half Deen. Just save yourself, unless you like to, you can go through that process. And some people need to go through it. So they appreciate my website. Go through it and experience that. Tell me how it works out for you. When you're done with all that stuff, you're ready to become serious about marriage, come and try my site and my competitors.
Mashallah.
Yeah, I'm the only one that says that. If I'm truly sincere, I want you to get married. If I'm truly sincere. If I'm just about business, I will say, just join my website. Everybody else sucks. I'm number one. I'm number one. That's what I'll be saying. I personally do think my website is the best because I would have made it this way if it wasn't, right? But I don't know where you're going to find your other half. You may join Half Our Deen, you may never get married to my website. That's the reality of it. Again, this is something, you're supposed to say this for marketing. You're supposed to say, John, from my website, I can almost guarantee you'll find somebody. We have 2,500 success stories, more than that now, alhamdulillah. And I should be saying that. No, I say, look, join our website, you still won't not get married. But you have to do everything you can in effort-wise because you don't know where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to put your other half. You pray istikhara, you make dua, but the effort is what I see Muslims lacking. And this is why I constantly say the biggest problems from those Muslim singles who are listening to this right now is not shaitan, it's not culture, it's not social media, it's not Bollywood, it's not all of these things. The number one reason that you can't get married, and people don't want to hear this, this is from a guy doing this for 11 years, thousands of people working with, the number one reason you can't get married is because of you. Look at the yeah. Yep. Go look in the mirror. That is the reason you can't get married. You are your own biggest enemy and you put yourself limitations around yourself. I'm only going to join this one website. I'm only going to find my person in this city. I'm only going to do this. I'm going to ask for this. I'm going to ask for this. You decided all this. Not Allah, not Islam, not culture, not Bollywood, not Shaitan. Shaitan didn't, you decided this. So your responsibility. So don't blame anyone. Take responsibility. Start changing yourself so you'll attract somebody that you want, which is a different subject maybe for a different time, but a lot of people, they're not attracting the right people. A common thing I hear from a lot of sisters, every guy I talk to, he wants me to pay half of my expenses. Where are the good men out there? I say, sister, you know why you are attracting and you seem to be talking to the same people while the other sisters are getting married to so-and-so? You ever wonder why? I said, I don't know. I said, sister, do you know what questions to ask when you're looking to get married? What questions would you ask? What's your deal breaker questions? I don't know. Can you tell the difference between if someone's telling you the truth and they're lying? Sisters, 95% of sisters, I like to say all, but I'll say 95% of sisters have no idea. They can't tell from the difference between a man who's telling them what they want to hear or the person who's actually telling them the truth. And there's very key ways to do it. I'll give you guys a free tip here on your podcast here, inshallah. So you ask questions that don't have right or wrong answers. Questions that don't have right or wrong answers. I'll ask you a question, Mahdi. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask. With all the stuff that's happening in the world today, do you think the world needs more justice or does it need more mercy? See, the fact that he did that reaction to you means that that's not an easy answer to answer because both answers seem to be correct. So now he's taking a pause to think about it. And this is where you know when you ask a good question to the brother you're speaking to for marriage, he takes a pause and thinks about it because there's no right, clear answer. If you just ask, are you a good Muslim? He's going to say yes.
Right.
Or do you pray? He's going to say yes. But look at the question I'm asking. It made him pause. Take a deep breath. So here's the question. Once again. And you guys answer it at home as well, and you'll get to answer what it actually means in a moment. Do you think the world needs more justice or does it need more mercy?
I'm going to go with justice.
Okay. Now, Mehdi says justice. Because he says justice, that tells me he is more fair. If he chose mercy, that would tell me he's more forgiving. Does that mean he's not forgiving? No, he could be very forgiving. It just means he is more just. He's more fair than forgiving.
Wow, that's deep, Achi. That's deep, bro.
So a sister will ask you, now some sisters out there may be looking for a brother who is more fair. I want a husband who is fair, who is just with me, he's fair with me. And some sisters, I want a husband who's more forgiving. I have a temper, I have these weaknesses, these flaws, I need a very forgiving husband to be patient with me. So different sisters want different things, and you don't know the sister you're speaking to. My wife chose I chose a wife, by the way, who's more just. And that's what I'm attracted to. While my friend chose a sister who's more forgiving. Who's right or wrong? There's no right or wrong. Let me give you an example. Of the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one is the most just and one is the most forgiving or the most merciful because we ask mercy. So there's no right or wrong answer here. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has pluses and minuses. So what I teach, and this is the personality stuff we take, is I find out your personality and there's flaws that come with your personality type. Let me give you an example. We have something called the coral personality type. So the coral personality type is coral color. We just use colors. We have indigo, coral, teal, magenta. So the coral personality type is a personality type that is direct. Some of us, you're very direct. And you say, oh, I'm just being honest here. I'll say it like it is. You think more with your head than your heart. You say like it is. There's nothing wrong. Maybe Omar, radiallahu anhu, was more of a personality that was like that. Then there's other personality types that are like softer. They're opposite of that, right? So they're different. So if you think of this for a moment, who is like Musa, for example, he was probably more of a coral personality, right? And Ibrahim also maybe more like a what we call an indigo personality. Different prophets may have different. Isa, for example, was the magenta personality, opposite of like what Musa was. Very different from each other in the way they were. Allah did not make every messenger the same, different characteristics, different character. There's no right or wrong. All of us can have positive and negatives. But a coral personality can be very direct. Now, what if you're marrying somebody that is very sensitive? That could be problematic. So the sister has to be able to tolerate a husband who can be insensitive. If she says insensitivity is not something I can tolerate, then I don't care what else he has about him. You're going to have some problems in your marriage. I don't care how handsome he is. Similarly, there are certain things that you may not be able to tolerate in the magenta personality. Magenta personalities, oftentimes, if you guys are magenta, you avoid conflict. You don't like to start disagreements or things, so you oftentimes stay quiet instead of speaking up when you need to speak up. And you're often too nice to people, so people take advantage of that kindness. You're the kindest of all personality types. So the more magenta you have in your personality, we have those bars on our profiles. You see, oh wow, this has a lot of coral. But here's some great things about the coral, by the way. They're professional. They're natural entrepreneurs. They're leaders. Sounds like Musa, right? They're leaders. They are direct. They are on time. They're efficient. They're productive. They are independent. They get things done. Those are coral personalities. They're oftentimes the supervisors, the managers, the people leading the Muslim communities. There's people who even start their own podcasts because it takes a lot of that independence and motivation to push yourself, right? No one's pushing you. The opposite, and they're goal-oriented. They achieve goals. They love achieving goals. The opposite is the magenta. Magenta are people who are more like team-oriented. They avoid conflict. They believe in their high tolerance of different understandings, different people's beliefs. It's okay. Let's figure a way to all work together. They are the kindest of all the personalities. They are the ones that are most supportive of all the personality types, the best listeners. Corels are not the best listeners. Sometimes they can be very good speakers, but not the best listeners.
It sounds like these are individuals who, and thank you, G. Job, Baba Ali, you're dropping gems, brother. Absolutely, Ahi. It sounds like you're describing someone who is high in trait disagreeableness. Is that what it would be?
Yes. So what you have to do is, what can I tolerate? Can I tolerate a Corel? Can I tolerate a teal personality? Can I tolerate this? What can I tolerate? And then when I realized I can tolerate all of them except for maybe indigo. Indigo I cannot tolerate. So I tell you, don't marry any sister who has a lot of indigo on the website, because you'll have meters for each person, shows you how much of each color they have. So stay away from those sisters. But she looks amazing, and she has all these qualities. She looks like all the questions match, but your personalities are going to clash.
Okay, I have a question for you, Baba Ali.
Sure.
This sounds excellent. Let's talk about receipts in terms of success. I don't know what the average success rate is on dating apps. What is, so let's
Neither do I, by the way.
Pardon?
Neither do I. So I'll tell you why I don't know. Our website is a very private website. The only people that voluntarily have told us they found the other half is around 2,500 people. Right. All the other people, including my friends, when they left the website, they never mentioned that they found the other half. So 2,500 people have volunteered that information to us.
Okay.
Allahu Alam. It may be 5,000 people, maybe 10,000 people have success stories, but the vast majority of our people don't want anyone to know, including us, that they found the other half on the website. I just want to disappear, delete me, pretend I never existed. So they don't want follow-up, don't mention my name, pretend I never existed. Poof, I'm a ghost. Yeah, I can't ever count, but alhamdulillah, 2,500 something people have notified us. 2,500 contacts we received that from people that have told us, including I've seen many people live. Now, many people that I know personally have not said on the website that they found the other half, and they don't want anyone to know. They've told me directly. And I know people for more than 15 years. Please don't say it, even anonymously, that I found your half. That's how concerned they are of what people will think. Right. So I understand my website attracts this audience. It's not attracting an audience that doesn't mind if they're on the website or if they show up on Google search when you type in single Muslim. Right. That's not my audience. And obviously this is a very, very specific audience. As you said earlier, you're filtering out down to more serious men. So it's not going to have majority men, because majority are not going to be like this. But you have a lot of filtered down men, so you have much less men to go through. So our website is 59% women and 41% men, which is almost 50-50. It's not like 80-20. It's 59-41. So it's almost 60-40, I would say, 60-40. But the 40% is quality.
Baba Ilyas, okay.
I wasn't here to advertise Half Deen. I'm only answering because you're asking.
And for those of you in the chat, by the way, I have nothing to do with Half Our Deen, in case you thought this was some type of covert marketing. No, it's just how the conversation transpired. But Baba Ali, this question here from Ilyas. Jazakallah khair, Ilyas, for the 499 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. Modern women want marriage but don't know how to be a wife. They want their men to assume traditional roles while they are not traditional themselves. Now, I have heard this from Kevin Samuels before. This is definitely prevalent in the non-Muslim community, or in his case, the black community. Is this something that you have found to be accurate in the Muslim community?
Very, very accurate. Both sides, by the way. Traditional sisters don't want modern husbands, and vice versa. Everyone wants to be modern, but no one's attracted to modern. So, and modern, by the way, comes, and we don't discuss this very much, but when I do in the rooms on Clubhouse, I mention this in detail. Where does modern women and modern men come? Because we talk about the modern women quite a bit. We don't talk about the modern men. And modern men, or you guys are starting to see them, but you realize, oh, that's the modern man. That's how men have changed. Those are modern men you're interacting with. This is where it's rooted into liberalism. For those who are not familiar with liberalism, this is where the mentality comes, whatever makes you happy, do it. Whatever benefits you. The whole world is surrounded by you. So Islam is not designed for this. Put me first. You know, a lot of people get divorced, and now I know what I'm going to do. I'm putting myself first before anyone else. That's not what Islam teaches. Put myself before my wife, before my kids, just me. And this is where the mentality comes from. And now you want to marry this person with these mentality, man or woman. The men are like, hey, me first. Why should I pay for half of all your things in this house? Why should you share my money? You know what? You go work. I work, and we both contribute. This is the modern world, and your money's not longer for yourself anymore. I think you should be modern. That's the kind of husband you're going to attract. And traditional wives want a husband who's going to have the Islamic roles, and you're going to make sure you take care of my rights and do all my things, and I will do your rights and take care of these things. Modern people don't like this. Traditional people don't like this. It clashes. Right. You know what modern people like? Modern people like the person who follows the traditional things and gives you all the rights that you want. So a modern sister, I want to be career oriented. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to go out, I'm going to go work, but I'm going to keep all the money for myself. Right. And you need to go hire a maid if you want the house to be taken care of. And you can go find someone, put your children in daycare. And the guy like, so I just married you so you go work and keep everything for yourself. So you like the parts of Islam where you keep all the money for yourself, but you don't like the parts of Islam where you're supposed to take care of my rights too? It's kind of like, no, I like this part. I was going to cut out the fat. I'm just saying here with those part. He's like, are you kidding me? Why would I want you? There's 1,000 more people to choose from. Next. So that's what I'm saying. So, and the same way about the sisters too. A sister who's being raised by Islam and sees the beauty of Islam and wants to live by Islam and wants a husband who would be a Muslim man, who would be a good leader, who's not just thinking about me. You know, by the way, me is on Day of Judgment. You got nafsi is Day of Judgment. You guys are already starting early. I don't know why. So what happens is you guys are like me, and then why would a sister want you? She wants you to be the leader. She's literally giving the keys to this marriage and say, you have the final say. And if the final say is coming with you thinking of yourself first, you're not attractive material either. So it's not just modern sisters, because we oftentimes talk about Muslim women. There's a lot of modern men out there. And they're having trouble getting married too. Nobody wants them. You know who really doesn't want them? Modern women. Modern women love the parts of Islam where the men treat them with respect, where the men give them the rights, you can keep all your money, They love that part. They just don't like the part where you get the final say. So it's not like they want a husband they can control, but then they don't respect you because they can control you.
Oh, let's just hang on that point for a moment.
Did you hear that? Is that my sound on my side, or is that from your side?
I think we're good.
No, I just saw a lot of gems just being dropped. I was just double checking. Okay, sorry.
No, I wanted to hang on that. They want a man that they can control, but then they don't respect him because they can control him. Yeah. Okay. I want to hang. Let me just do the super chat. Rashid, Jazakallah khair. I appreciate the €5 super chat. Women, we want men to be like men of old. Men, cool. We also want women to be like the women of old. Women, how dare you? Yes, subhanallah. But I want to hang on that point, Akhi, of a woman wanting control, but then losing respect for him because she has control. Why do some women want that control in the first place? It's being motivated by a fear. What's the fear?
The fear is he is going to abuse his power and choose him, nafsi, choose me. Allah gave him this power and he's going to abuse it. This is a question I asked in a Clubhouse from one time. I said, sisters, and by the way, not one sister accepted the offer. Sisters, what if I flip the script? What if you get the final say? You get the final say and he has to listen to you. But before you make any major decision, you consult with him, just like the men are supposed to consult with you, and you make a group decision. But whenever there's a difference in opinion, you have the final say. But it doesn't mean you're a dictator, just like you don't want him to be a dictator. But when there's something that you both disagree upon, major thing, you get the final say instead of him. In exchange, on the Day of Judgment, all of that accountability for him to have the final say will be removed from him, and that will be placed on you, and you will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be accountable for every one of those things. He gets to have a free pass, and he passes that part of the Day of Judgment. You get it instead. Would you accept this offer? Not one sister of the many, many sisters accepted the offer. So you want the power, but you don't want the accountability that comes with that power. So brothers, we did not ask for this. Allah did not say, guys, you want this power or not? It's not an optional, it is on us. It's almost like we are born and now you are the governor of this city. I don't want to be governor, but guess what? You need to be governor. That is part of the agreement if you want to marry the sister. You will be accountable for every single decision that you make. If it benefited you, if not benefited you, even if you get away with it in this life, you will answer on a day of Iqamah that will have there'll be no chance of asking for forgiveness. No, none. And they may not get her justice in this life, she'll get it in the hereafter. And you can't pay for it. The only currency you have on Day of Judgment is hasanat. So all this work that you did for salah and fasting, you're literally just going to give it straight to her. And if you run out of that, guess what you get? You take her sins. So you go to Jahannam and pay for it that she doesn't have to pay for. Do you want to take that deal? We have to take that deal. We have no choice. Sisters, none of them want that deal. None of them. I don't know about you guys. I have enough to accountable. I make enough flaws about Baba Ali. I have enough things to worry about in the Day of Judgment. By the way, I'm the only person. I challenge this, another open challenge. Go to my terms and agreement on my website. Scroll down to the very bottom. A Jewish attorney typed that up. It says, if you agree to these terms and agreement, you can't hold me accountable on the Day of Judgment.
Wow.
I take it this seriously, guys, because you may not have the best experience on my website. You may not find your match on my website. And I don't want you to come and hold me accountable on a day of judgment. This is how I take my business, and I take it Deen seriously. So I'm not Muslim inside the masjid. I'm Muslim in life. I'm a convert. I gave up a lot of things for Islam. So when I sacrifice those things, I accept an entire package. I don't accept just the praying and making myself feel good and have a spirituality. No, it's the whole package. It's the spiritual, it's the Deen, it's the way you do business, it's the way you interact with your neighbors. So everyone, my neighbor here is a Jewish guy. He's in this I'm in the Jewish Orthodox area. He's told me by far the best neighbor I've had for more than 20 years, and the closest people that are to me are you guys, the Muslims. No one has taken care of me like you Muslims have taken care of me. Wow. So me, Baba Ali, is not just Muslim as a comedian, because when I get on stage, and for those who've listened to me, I don't talk like other comedians. I don't make fun of Islam. I don't make fun of other ethnicities like Pakistanis. Let's make Desi jokes. Let's make Arab jokes. I don't have any of that stuff. So I don't make fun of you, right? If anyone was talking about myself, Iranian, be whatever, but even then I'm very, very minimal. I talk about the stuff that we should be, even if you watch my YouTube videos, it's stuff that we should be shamed about. So I make fun of it so people become more conscious of not doing it in public anymore. That's the stuff I made my YouTube videos about. So I'm a different mindset, a different mentality, a different business type of business person. Who the heck does no volunteer basis, denies you, who forces you to take money? This is a different mindset. And I do things differently, and alhamdulillah, my results are different. People come to my website, they do things differently, and alhamdulillah, the results are different. So if you want difference, you have to do things differently. You can't do like everybody else and expect different results. You follow everybody else, and all these people who are using this type of website or doing this type of thing, you're gonna have the exact same results as everybody else. Don't expect difference. You will be the exception, not the norm. But back to your question you asked me initially. Your initial question was regarding the list of brothers and list of sisters.
Before we get to that, 1 second, Yusuf Chowdhury, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Just showing that love. Didn't even ask a question.
By the way, yeah, this Yusuf Chowdhury, by the way, I've seen this brother many, many times because I worked with him with one of the projects of Ummah Films. So the very, very, very beginning videos of Ummah Films, this is one of the most exceptional brothers that I've ever worked with, by far. So this is a brother. So he's, as you can see, he's doing way towards you, because this brother, I haven't seen him for quite a bit, over 2 years now. But mashallah, he's an amazing brother. And Ummah Films would have never been Ummah Films without him. So all the Baba Ali stuff, I'm just the front of things. But there's a lot of people, including Yusuf, which helped us dramatically with our SEO. So if you need someone with SEO, this was one brothers that got us. In less than 3 months, our members jumped to 1,000 active members because of Yusuf Chowdhury. This was back in 2010. Wow. So now he's gone on and expanded into his very, very successful SEO business, mashallah. And he's helped a lot of businesses. And one of the businesses that is indebted with him is Half Deen. Back in 2010, when we were just very, very small. The reason why, as I said earlier, why we became profitable is because we had really good people around us. And I'm just the face of Half Deen, but there's a huge group of people behind the scenes, about 7 of us, that work so hard to make it successful. And he's one of those brothers. So, but they don't want to be seen. And I don't think he even liked the fact that I just mentioned him right now, but khair, inshallah. May Allah give him reward in Day of Judgment. So.
Ameen. Baba Ali, I want to be respectful of your time, Akhi. But I wanted you, before we conclude this, I know you've in the past, when you have been asked what advice would you give the single people, and you mentioned that the biggest problem is you. That can be broad though. What specific advice would you give our single Muslim brothers and sisters on this chat right now for those of them looking to get married in halala, keeping it halal, going through the correct route? Aside from, of course, utilizing these very useful tools that you have created through Half Our Deen, what advice would you give these brothers and sisters before we conclude this segment?
I am coming up with a brand new feature for Half Deen. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like because I only took a picture of it on my phone. And this is what it looks like. And if you look at it, it's kind of hard, but there's description of different things that sisters are asking for and things that brothers ask for. All right. So, and I'll say some of these things. So I'm asking people haven't done this yet. So you guys, this is exclusive. You guys are getting this right now before anyone else is. I ask people, give me a rating of 1 through 10 on what you're looking for. I'm give it even for brothers and sisters. 12 things that brothers are looking for, 12 things sisters are looking for. And things that brothers are looking for is different things that are different than sisters are looking for. Like, for example, sisters are looking for a good leader. I've never met a brother, so I'm looking for a sister who's a good leader. They don't care. Sisters are looking for financial stability, but brothers want financial responsibility. Then there's other things that both like religiousness. They both want people who are patient. They want both people like a man wants a sister who is more stylish, or maybe they don't. Submissiveness, a keyword. Sorry if I triggered any of those sisters who are listening, but I don't care. The feminine energy, athletic, age, beauty. And from the sister side, things they're looking for is emotional intelligence, good leader, religious, age, sense of humor, financial stable, height. See, men don't ask for height. Sincere, confident. Men don't ask for confidence as one of their things. Women do. Confidence, handsome, generous, intelligent, etc., etc. What I ask you to do is I say, I want you to come up with your little wish list, your little eat list. You know how they have Santa Claus has for them? We don't have Santa Claus. We have Bubba Claus. Okay, Bubba Claus is coming here for you. And Bubba Claus is giving you, says, you know how they have Make a Bear? In America, we have this thing called Make a Bear. You go to the shopping center and you put all these different items together. You pick the eyes and they give you a bear. So you're going to I'm going to make you make your own spouse. But you only get 60 credits to use. 60 points to use in any of these things. You have 12 things. You have to put your points wherever you like. So if you choose a 1, the 1 is the bare minimum. Bare minimum. So if for example, let's say, for example, financial stability. If you choose 1, that is the opposite of what you want. This is a brother who has no job, no source of income, and he has debt with him. That's a 1. A 10 is a millionaire. What number would you like? Well, what's a 5? 5 is something he doesn't make that good money, but he doesn't make it terrible. He's like, meh. That's a 5. But if you want something a little bit better, go to a 6. If you want really better, go 7. If you want like six-figure income, whatever, go like an 8. If you want even better than that, go a 9. If you want super the best, go for a millionaire status, go 10. So I only got 60 points to spend. Then let's say you're your sister, like, okay, I really want financial stability. That sounds really good. I'll use a full 10 there. Okay, you only have 50 points left. What are you gonna use for height? Well, what's the opposite? If I use a 1, what is that? Well, 1 is, let's say, sister, you're 5'5". If you're 5'5", a brother is 5 inches smaller than you, that's a 1. You're like, wait a second, 5 smaller? He's like, yes, 5 inches smaller. Like, I don't want that. Okay, what's a 10? 10 is exact height that you want, exactly down to the centimeter to the inch. Okay, fantastic. Then what's a 5? A 5 will be exactly your height. And it's like, it's not terrible, but it's not what I want. I just want a little bit taller. Okay, then use a 6, use a 7. Okay, how many points do I have again? 60. And you quickly spend your points, and then you realize that I kind of forgot about height. I got financial stability. I picked a guy who's handsome, but he's not like this. And he's a good leader, but he doesn't have this. He doesn't have a strong education. There's all these different things. And I realized I don't get the perfect husband. And I realized that's life, everybody. There's a lot of amazing people that have a lot of the great qualities you're looking for, but they go right under your radar, and somebody else will snatch them and marry that person. If you're looking for perfection, you're never going to find it. You are on the waiting list. That's where you're at. You know what? When you go to a doctor, you arrive early. Guess where you stay? In the waiting room. But I'm early. Why am I still waiting? Because it's called the waiting room for a reason. And the list for the sisters who are looking to get married is called the waiting list. That's why I named it. Because a lot of sisters are waiting for Prince Charming to come. Wow. That's not Prince Charming. That's me. You know what? Of me waking you up to realize that there is no Prince Charming coming. Baba Ali's here to reality to wake you up to realize that there is no perfect person, just like you are not perfect. And if you did find a husband who has this 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, why would he want you?
Oof. Ouch.
That was another gem he just dropped. So if you hear those sounds in the background, that was me again. So why would he want you? You better be 10, 10, 10, 10 as well. So a guy, if you happen to score yourself, so let's say you go to the other side of the list and say, look, what if I score myself? I wonder how many points I would get. Would I get more than the 60 points above at least recommended? Sure. So you do it, and you realize you are 40. Like, I'm gonna give myself 40 points. Yeah, now you can only find a husband who's gonna match with you, because a 40 would want a 40. But if you are an 80 or a 90, then you naturally want someone who's like an 80 or 90 on the score. So what can I do, Baba Ali, to attract the right person? Improve yourself. There's things here that you can improve. You can improve. There's things you have no control over. Age you can't control. But religiousness you can improve. There's athletic sisters. A lot of sisters, we don't take care of ourselves. I just want to be spiritual. No, exercise and be spiritual. All right. Feminine energy, yes, you can work on that. Sensitive humor, not necessarily. Submissiveness, you can work on it. Stylish, you can work on it. Patience, you can work on it. Homemaking, inspiration, you can work on it. And brothers, you can work on a lot of stuff here. And you can work on your confidence. You can work on your sense of humor. You can work on financial stability. You can't touch your height. You can't touch your age. Your religiousness, you can work. Being a good leader, you can work on. Emotional intelligence, there's so many books you can read to understand how women think. These are things you can do. And every one of these things you do to improve yourself, you are now more valuable. And sisters and brothers they'll come to you. You don't have to go to them. Everyone's gonna say, I know a really, really good brother. All your friends, I know a really, really, really good sister. You'll be that person. You get to choose. That's my advice, guys.
Barakallah feek. Wallahi, jazakallah khair, Baba Ali. Where can the people find you, Akhi? Plug in
Well, find me out. Look, you can actually talk to me. I'm almost every day on Clubhouse. So if you go to Clubhouse, you type in the word Baba Ali, you'll find me. I run a group there called Muslim Singles. I'm there free. Ask me questions. I'm there. I'm not selling you anything. I have no program to sell you. I'm not a coach. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not even a basketball coach. I'm just a regular brother who's just here to help people get married. The only thing that I have is a website, and even then, I tell you to join as many as you can. Don't just join mine. All right. So I'm here necessary to help you guys. I don't care if you don't find your half on my website. You may be talking to a person in person right now, through your MSA, your ISOC, through your family, through your friends. And you need sometimes to get these pieces of advice to help you get married, including I have rooms about teaching about personality types. Again, this is all free. There's no catch. There's no extra program to sell. Then I have rooms about questions. I show you how to develop those kind of questions like I gave you earlier. I have rooms about just tips on how to figure out red flags from men, how to figure out if someone's lying or not, how to figure this out. And all this is free on Clubhouse, and you can just follow me on Instagram, inshallah, and I'll give you links to where you can find me. I'm there almost every other day or so.
Send me your links, inshallah ta'ala, and I'll plug them in the description and people can find you there. Baba Ali, wallahi, I thank you for your time, Akhi. This has been...
Sorry, and I apologize for being late today, and it was complete miscommunication on my part.
No, at all. This has been immensely beneficial. Jazakallah khair, Baba Ali.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wow. Allahumma barak. A lot to ponder on, a lot to dwell on there. I have a bunch of you in the room right now. I can't bring you on. I have to go and pray my salah myself. I'm going to read these super chats real quick. Sumaya, don't become astastic. Yusuf Hassan, inshallah, on the next live. Oh, you guys can come back on. I know you've been waiting here patiently the whole time. I'll bring you back on the next one, inshallah ta'ala. I have to pray my salah. The right of Allah is upon me and calling me. Right, I want to read these super chats real quick before we conclude. Ammar, £5. Jazakallah khair, Habibi. Wallahi, I appreciate it for the £5 super chat. Does Yusuf teach SEO? Yusuf, I hope you're still here, bro, because you got customers lining up for you. I would be keen to learn if so. Baba was an excellent guest. Jazakallah khair to both the brothers. Hayakallah. Barakallah feek, Ammar. Dude Desi, Abdul Hamid, Habibi, appreciate the $10 super chat. Assalamu alaikum, Mahdi. Abdul Hamid here. Seriously, Akhi, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you insanely gorgeous wives with excellent taqwa. Ameen, ya Rab. This is my dua from my heart. Ameen ajma'een. Likewise to you and all the brothers in the chat as well, for that matter. Jazakumullah khair. Ikhwan wa akhawati, jazakumullah khair. If you haven't prayed, go and pray. I need to go pray my salah right now, then have a shower because that stink. Jazakumullah khair. Appreciate it. Rashid, appreciate this 99 cents, euros, whatever the currency is in France. Appreciate it. Jazakumullah khair. Have a good one, ikhwan wa akhawati. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.